corn and Nurgle, you can have anything else you want.
Well, it works out perfectly because you go Nurgle.
It's done it again.
Liam is corn.
I always misjudge where Tom sat.
Oh.
And I do it when you're all playing the game, and then they come to the show, and I'm like, I need to change it now.
Does that mean that you're on the Nurgle Demon Army?
He doesn't want to run Nurgle Demons,
If you paint 60, what are they called? Poxwalker? No.
Plague Bearers.
Plague Bearers.
We've got 60 Plague Bearers.
We have got 60. We have got 60 Plague Bearers. Yeah.
I'll run it. If it's against Joe, I'll run it.
Yeah.
I want to see him cry when
Joe,
60 Plague Bearers walk towards him.
No.
Is Joe muted?
I'm not muted. It's coming out.
Talk for me.
Blah blah blah.
No, it's actually not coming out.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It was working before I handed it to you.
Yeah.
Can you?
He sets me up to fail.
This is revenge.
Can you do me a favour? Can you
me.
undo your mic cable and then redo it up again?
Hang on. I'm going to mute it.
Yeah. I've muted it here as well, so you're good.
I have to do the twisty thing, don't I?
It's not actually Joe's fault for a change.
It's shocking.
It is working. The receiver is saying it's muted.
Hello. Bing. Bing bong.
No, there's nothing coming through.
Bibbidi boobidi.
This is really odd, isn't it?
Did you unplug me, Tom?
Maybe.
Yeah. Just because
Oh no, it's working randomly.
just because I infected you with.
Just because you poisoned me.
Keep talking for me.
I poisoned Tom.
It stopped again.
What a day it was.
I knew I shouldn't have taken that open
Hello?
can from you.
Talk again.
What? 1 2 1 2.
Now it's working.
Yeah. Good. Good. If I do that, if I do this, does it stop again? Does it stop coming out?
No, it's this cable I think here.
Oh. Is it because it's touching another cable?
Maybe.
Those cables are super weird. They're like, no touchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you use the other mic?
Someone's volume's on as well on the show. It might be your iPad, Jay.
It'd be like, hell
I'm gonna listen
no,
to it.
that's
Hang on,
my
let me listen
no-no
to it.
zone.
No touching.
Yeah,
zone.
no touching, that's my no-no zone.
It sounds
what-
good now.
That's what the cables do.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep
whenever
an eye on
you
that,
touch
shall
It's
we?
because you fiddled with them too much.
I never touch that area because I'll rake it.
Facts.
I'm essentially a
You're like
a psychic null. But
Anti-engineer.
yeah.
You're definitely the opposite. Yeah, you're literally a null for technology.
Yeah.
It's working now, it looks like. Okay.
Can everyone hear Joe? Is they fine now?
Yeah, it looks like it was... That was really odd. All I did was twizzle the little mic in the front of the receiver and it started working. And then I touched it again, it stopped. How odd. Maybe I need a new cable.
I don't know.
They're pretty new, though, and expensive.
And they never really get touched.
No. How bizarre.
How bizarre.
How bizarre?
How bizarre.
How bizarre. Good afternoon, everybody, for the super professional start, as always.
Maybe if you put that table in, maybe you knocked it.
Yeah, that's probably what's happened. I've added coffee tables. It's possible that I've added that table, knocked the cable, and it's pulled it out a little bit or something. It's possible. So I reckon it's probably on me at this point. It's not your fault for a change. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for that super professional start, as you would now normally expect from the channel, on what is a beautifully sunny day down here.
Lovely.
But fuck me, is it cold outside.
It started snowing in Shaftesbury at 1 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah.
And it snowed all the way till 9 o'clock. So it's like a winter wonderland where I live.
We got promised heavy flurries of snow in Southampton yesterday.
Yeah.
And we had a bit of rain where about 5 giant flakes of snow fell. And that is what we classify as a flurry down
That
here.
is a Southampton flurry, isn't it?
That's 100%.
When you
a
live on the
flurry,
coast, that's what you get.
Like those videos that I've seen from America, my car door was literally frozen shut.
Yeah.
I had to get hot water and pour it on there to melt it.
Yeah.
Well, I think America has it slightly worse.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, they get the worst
They've
of
got both
ends.
at the moment, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
Fire and snow.
Right, so if you haven't already, let's hope it works today because I fixed it. I think. Please. Oh, I didn't fix it.
Is this going to show you?
That's the dice cam.
That's the camera angle that everyone wants.
What do you mean the one that everyone wants?
There we go. It's back.
So when it does the like and subscribe, it gives us dice cam.
No, this is now dice cam.
Wait, are we dice cam?
I did lots of fiddling the other day, and
And then he played with the computer.
You beat me to it.
I failed to work out how it went when I first had it, and it's oh well, hey, whatever. Welcome back. Please make sure you hit those magical YouTube buttons if you enjoy the content here, you wonderful human beings. Specifically, that subscribe if you're watching this after the fact. You lovely people. YouTube showed me like 40% of people that watch are currently not subscribed.
Yeah. Crucified Justified says 26 centimetres of snow and minus 22. Well,
Where
it was
are you?
Where the fuck are you? Antarctic?
We had minus 3.
Are you a polar bear?
We had minus 3 and about 5 centimetres of snow.
Yeah.
That's quite good, actually, to be fair. That's
We
better than
have -2 and about 4 flakes.
Yeah. I'm glad I did the old poo pick in the garden before the kids went out and played, though.
Why?
Because snow and you can't see the poops.
It's funny, isn't it? Though?
Are you
It is funny.
pooping in the garden?
No, the dog does.
Okay.
I
Also,
do
I mean-
sometimes, yeah.
Also, at that point, it's probably so hard, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like a brick.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking popsicle.
Yeah.
Right, so welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is an interesting one. First of all, we get to welcome Mr. Tom back,
Yeah.
who didn't actually have appendicitis.
No, I spent 9 hours in A&E Sunday to Monday to find out that they thought I had appendicitis. And then I went back in 2 days later for another 7 hours in A&E for them to tell me it's not appendicitis.
Yeah.
And I have some random stomach infection or something.
Yeah,
From the
trap
dog.
So it's
wind.
been a fun week for me, just the 18 hours A&E.
18 hours in A&E is
Is-
horrible because
It's quite
Like-
rough.
At least it was a break in between.
at no
Yeah,
point
true. It wasn't just straight.
in the last 20 years of A&E have they thought about any form of comfort.
No, but they haven't got any money.
Yeah, because
I mean, that's a fact, yeah.
they haven't got any money, but at the same time, it's like we know that these people are going to be sat here anywhere between 4 to 10 hours waiting to be seen,
Yeah.
and they have to sit on what is essentially primary school plastic hard chairs.
It's true, but like
Yeah.
they can't even pay their staff, Joe. They're not going to fucking buy
I
you a
haven't
chair.
been. I haven't been to A&E for so long. I have no idea what it's like now.
It's awful.
I'll tell you if you want.
Yeah.
No, I'm right, thanks.
What there is occasionally there's one. Is it called the orthopedic chairs? They're like the proper big comfy chairs.
Yeah,
There's always like
you've
one
got,
in the
like,
corner.
back problems
and
or
there's
something.
always like a row of old people sat next to it glaring, and there's like some like there's like a 5-year-old sat in this really
Yeah.
comfy chair living
Or
their
Joe.
best life. Yeah. No, I was glaring at
So Joe has said he's tried to poison me.
Yeah.
'cause
He has said that
was
repeatedly, yeah.
Getting jealous, I think.
Yeah. Is it because he's a
He
better
doesn't like
Chaos
other
player?
people being on.
Is it because he's a better Chaos player?
He does play the Chaos Army that has the better rules. Yeah.
Is it better rules, Joe?
It is.
Is it?
Hasn't won any massive tournaments lately.
Well, Tom's won tournaments with
Space
his.
Marines,
I've never won a tournament with World Eaters.
I thought you won a bunch of RTTs.
I've only won with Orcs,
Oh,
and it was only Bully Boys.
oh, that is really.
So it was a
cool.
lot
Yeah.
less impressive than
Yeah.
I would like it to be.
Chaos Space Marines, however, LGT.
Yeah.
Anyway, today's topic's an interesting one. I wanted to welcome Tom back first, who is actually fine, and we gave him the opportunity to be off
Yeah.
today, and he was like, I want to be back involved. It's
I'd
been
rather
pretty
be here, yeah.
miserable.
Also, thank you everyone in chat who said welcome
That reminds
back.
me, I
I
need to message
appreciate it.
Andrew and tell him he doesn't need to be here tonight.
Did you not tell him?
No.
I didn't tell him he needed a beer.
Joe's
Joe's gone maverick
Joe
since,
just
since we've
fucking-
come back to the
Joe
video.
really doesn't want me
Adam
to
was like,
be
I can't
here.
do Thursday, but I can do tomorrow. So he told me this yesterday, and I said we can sub him in if Tom feels it doesn't feel comfortable.
Adam, if you're
tonight.
watching, sorry mate, but I know talk to me, the person who runs the rota, and I'll give you the answer.
I just like to make your life difficult.
It doesn't make my life difficult. It makes your life difficult when Adam turns up and he's not playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't say he could play either.
But if he does turn up, I'll just not play. He can play you, and you get beat again.
Yeah, probably.
I'll just sit behind here with Tom and Lee.
Yeah.
You fucking right little party.
Oh, he's coming as well.
Oh, Lee
tonight,
coming
yeah?
today.
He's local. He wants to come hang out. It's like come hang out.
Nice.
Yeah. He intended.
How do you do on Tuesday?
He did, considering he had 15 minutes.
Is it literally like just
Like,
in
Here's the
how you do
buttons.
it?
This is what they do. I'll talk you through it on stream.
Jesus.
Yeah, he did all right actually.
That's
he did
pretty
really well.
impressive, to be fair.
And he after the stream he was like, Jesus Christ, running this is difficult. I was like, yup.
Yeah.
He's like, you've got so much to keep going at once. I was
It is like
yup.
a lot more difficult than I thought it was, to be
Yeah,
fair. Like
it's a lot of
after
spinning
doing it for a
plates.
few weeks, it's
It
fucking
is.
hard.
It's the hard. I think it's the hardest job of the stream.
I reckon it probably is, yeah.
Yeah. Which is why we initiate people
Although
with that
Joe
job.
does make look playing the game more difficult,
Yeah.
so that he
And he
doesn't
makes
have
the
to
deck
produce.
look really easy because he's one
Because he
angle.
doesn't press any buttons.
He's like, launch stream, dice cam on, hands off. Job done.
I can see a single tear just starting to roll down his face.
I figured out how I
You
do
can see
it
why
now.
he poisoned me.
You can do Joe's game streams with 3 cameras, top down, dice cam, front on, done.
Yeah,
That's
job
it.
done.
All you need. Isn't that right, Joe?
What else do you need? You just need top down, really.
But it's for some reason when I try and use the weird angle cams, I'm like pressing it, and it's always like the wrong one that I'm on,
Yeah.
and when I do get the right one, it's like looking at your nipple or something.
Which is not good at the moment because I feel like I've got boobs right now. Too much Christmas food.
Yeah. My body is in shock at the moment
Is it?
because obviously it's January. We like to get on the diets and stuff.
Yeah.
my body is not enjoying salad at the moment.
It's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's what is this? Get it out of your body immediately.
Yeah. I've got this T-shirt combined with how I'm sat, combined with Christmas, means I definitely sat here looking like I've got moobs right now. But
Christmas does do
so
that.
if you fancy camera into those, I'm not going to be happy. So it's better that you're up there playing.
Yeah.
But Joe said he would always be up there playing rather than running.
Oh, 100%. Because I know that there are people who are vastly better at the deck than I am.
Yeah.
I will say as well, it was a fucking struggle trying to do wishes when you're not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why different?
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
Different, not necessarily
There's no
better.
filter on your brain. You just instantly come up.
It's a blessing and a curse.
So today's topic's quite an interesting one. If you're keeping an eye on Warcom this week, they're dropping loads of articles about the Astra Militarum impending pre-order that's coming on Saturday, where you'll be able to pick up the Krieg pre-order box, which has in it Death Riders and Somber Horseman and a big cannon and some engineers. Now, the box
Massive cannon
that they showcased at the end of last year in the preview, fucking gorgeously stunning box, right? Absolutely beautiful. And me personally, my favourite Guard regiment has always been Krieg, hence I have a significant amount of Krieg resin, and when I started working with that a long time ago, decided it wasn't for me. And that's why now this plastic release has me all excited all over again, because I fucking love Krieg, and having Krieg in plastic is just an absolute dream. But part of the article, so we're not going to cover the articles off for a couple of reasons. One, you can just read the article if you want. And secondly, there is a risk, as you're probably aware, there is a risk that we end up saying something we're not supposed to. Because, yes, I'm allowed to say this, by the way, I have confirmation, we have it. We can't tell you what's in the Codex, I'm not allowed to.
Can we give our personal opinions on it, though?
No, not really. That classes as a review, which we have to wait until 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. But people will assume at this point, with a pre-order coming up on Saturday, that we've got it, and we are allowed to say, yeah, we've got it. But that's all we can say is we've got it. The box is stunning, but that's literally as far as we can say, right? So I thought I'd talk about something a bit different. And the reason why I thought I'd talk about this is because there was an article that dropped, I think it was during the Liam and Joe show on Tuesday, about Guard regiments and stuff like that. And it got me really thinking, right? So I'm not going to pick on Guard players or Guard people, or people that were in the chat on Tuesday specifically, but people were really upset about the removal of a datasheet as it seems, standard infantry squads. So in the current index version, you have an infantry squad, you have a Cadian squad, you have a Krieg squad, you have a Catachan squad, right? And what they basically said in the article, in the section right at the bottom, the italic section right at the bottom, is they removed generic infantry squads and generic heavy weapons teams. What you've got, however, this was in the Isles, so it's perfectly allowed, is Krieg infantry, Krieg heavy weapons, Krieg command, Cadian infantry, Cadian heavy weapons, Cadian command, Catachan infantry, Catachan heavy weapons, Catachan command. But people were really upset about losing these generic infantry squads. And I was like, but I don't understand why.
I don't get it.
And people were arguing, well, they're saying that Mordians don't exist. No, what they're actually saying is you just choose the rules you want to represent your Mordians.
Surely Mordians exist the exact same amount as before, because there was not a Mordian squad, was there?
There wasn't, no, but and I would argue that I reckon most people probably weren't using standard infantry rules because they were worse than every other unit.
Games Workshop, as we all know, as well-adjusted human beings with common sense.
Oh no, what was I going to say?
Is that Games Workshop now only produce rules for models they sell.
Not entirely true.
Isn't there some weird Yukari stuff?
There's
you could probably say every new codex that comes out.
Okay, every new codex, because currently there are 4 drilled units that are still in index that have rules and Games Workshop to tell them. There was a situation where you can't buy some characters because they weren't made to order, but majoritively they only give you rules for the models that they sell. Games Workshop doesn't sell a generic infantry guard squad because they've always said that generic infantry are Cadians or based on the Cadian build. And before the Krieg kill team, there was only Cadians and Catachans in plastic.
Yep.
Now you've got an extra one to play with.
Yep.
And now they're just saying normal guard are based off Cadians, use the Cadian rules, but because you're going to be using Cadian plastics.
Because surely, Cadian are essentially just standard guards, really.
There's the template that all guard are built.
Yeah, they're basically the Ultramarines of guard, aren't they?
So what I want to talk about today, not specifically Astra Militarum, but I see lots of conversations going on in places like Discord, in WhatsApp, on Facebook, etc. I see lots of conversations going on here about flavour. And there is an argument that sort of rages on. Rages is perhaps a bit strong of a word, but there's an argument that rages on where 10th edition has more flavour, 10th edition has less flavour. So what I wanted to do today was not say whether I personally think, and we probably will go down this path, whether I personally think there is or isn't less or more flavour in 10th edition, but to define what flavour is in Warhammer 40k.
Yeah.
Because I think for some people, flavour is, I can buy my Templars covered in Templar parts. And for other people, flavour is, I can make whatever the hell I want out of any unit and give it any rules I want and off I go. So, Mr. Narrative Joe, where do you sit on flavour? How would you define flavour and what your version of flavour is in Warhammer 40k?
My version of flavour, realistically, is playing an army based on a specific narrative. But the narrative is subjective based on whether you're only going from the narrative that the Games Workshop has handed to you, right? Because you might say, well, my favourite flavour of Guard is the 5th edition Guard Codex, right?
Yeah.
Where I had full platoons, was a full platoon, which was a command squad, 2 to 5 infantry squads, 2 special weapon squads, 2 heavy weapon teams, and a bunch of sentinels, right?
And why did that exist?
Because at the time, infantry squads for Guard were like 40 points.
But how did you build an army in 5th edition?
It was, you had CAD.
Combined Arms Detachment.
Yeah. So it made sense to fit within the structure of how you built your army. Games Workshop have now changed that narrative and that flavour, and how the game plays. So there's no need to have an infantry platoon as one troop's choice, because there's no limit on how many HQs, there's no limit on how many battle lines. So you don't need it, because you can still build a platoon in your head because you put all the models in the army.
So back in the for what Joe's talking about, back in the old Combined Arms Detachment in terms of platoons, because I see platoons whinged about quite a lot as well. If you took in Combined Arms without platoons, if you took 6 infantry choices and 3 heavy weapons teams, you'd filled out your heavy slots and your troops choices on your Combined Arms Detachment already.
Yeah,
done. If you took that in one platoon, you'd only use 1 troop slot. And that's why they gave it to you, because if you took the 3 heavy weapons teams as your heavy weapons slots, you had no Lehman Russes.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, though, you also wouldn't be able to hit 1,500 points.
You struggle, yeah.
Because a Guard player, if they didn't have the infantry platoon, would probably be able to make 700 points max if they weren't taking like big tanks.
But now you've got unlimited units.
Yeah.
You're limited to 6 battle line. If you take Cadian, Catachin and Krieg, you can have 18 troops choices.
Yeah.
And then you've got unlimited other data sheets. So you can take your 3 heavy weapons teams for Cadians, your 3 heavy weapons teams for Catachins, your 3 heavy weapons teams for Krieg, and still get Lehman Russes in if you've got enough points.
Do you think unlimited list building is better or worse for flavour? Because
I think it's...
Ooh, that's interesting.
Well,
if we just ignore the competitive side of it, because obviously people just go
unlimited.
max competitive.
Unlimited makes sense. So my idea is you either go for the narrative of the Codex or you go for the narrative of like a Black Library book.
Because I feel like the flavour for me, at least, is your army plays the game how you imagine it would based off the lore.
Yeah.
That's how I imagine the flavour translates into the game, which I think is probably easier to do if you have unlimited list building and unlimited detachment picking as well, which is what they're going for at the moment.
Yeah.
So I would
I also think that works
towards
for,
that.
I think that also works for custom flavour as well. For custom narrative.
It also makes it... The new version is a lot easier for custom chapters to be I can literally do whatever the hell I want, build whatever list of things I want, use whatever detachment I want, and it just fits with the narrative that I like.
So if you think back in 8th and 9th edition, Space Marine chapters had specific rules.
Yeah.
So if you were an Imperial Fist player, you had Bolter Drill.
Yeah.
Right? But if you played Celestial Lions, for instance, which are a successor chapter of Imperial Fists, you were locked to the Imperial Fist Bolter Drill rule.
Yeah, that was it.
Or it was like heavy weapons you could move and shoot. I can't remember what it was, or you got +1 strength.
It was weapons. A rule, yeah.
It was a specific rule. But Celestial Lions are more of a combat-focused army. So you were a negative because you were... So I can't play the narrative of the army that I want to do because Games Workshop's enforced this narrative rule on me.
Yeah, that's... Yeah. I'm not a fan of how Ninth did it, where it's like you would full lock to whatever
But
you went for.
And Sean's put a joking comment in chat. But on the flip side, now you can run Dark Angels and you can take Gladius, which is quite specifically designed for Ultramarines. Now, you could argue Gladius, which is combat doctrines, you can apply to every chapter, right? Because chapters use combat doctrines.
Yeah.
But I do feel there's a little part of it like, if you're an Ultramarines player and you take, if you're an Ultramarines player and you take Calgar, you can't run Inner Circle Task Force.
Can I?
Right, you can't run Inner Circle Task Force. But if you're a Dark Angels player playing Azrael, you can run Gladius.
Yeah.
But this goes back to the thing we've said like 700 times.
Hang on. Can I poo all over Sean's thing, right?
I thought you just say, "Can I poo?"
Right.
This is also Joe, who's a newly found massive fan of Ultramarines.
no, it's all right.
Is it since the balance up?
A little bit, yeah.
Right.
Weird that.
Right. What are
Double
what are
Oath does
all-
things to a man.
What are all chapters of Space Marines made up of now?
Come.
Technically,
I mean, technically, it's all the Emperor's come, isn't it?
yeah. So, what weren't available in 7th edition that basically make up every chapter now?
Blade God?
Primaris Marines.
Primaris Marines,
Oh,
Yeah.
right?
Blade Guard, though,
Because I was
is,
just
right?
like,
It's the answer.
Joe does
Really,
18
yeah.
of these in every list.
Who commissioned Primaris Marines?
Gulliman.
Gilliman, right? Which means so over the time that Bertard's Call was
He asked me 2 questions, I got them both right.
was
Oh, mental,
conditioning all these Primaris Marines that he'd made.
Yeah.
It's all based on Ultramarines combat doctrine. Once the
Dominus Crusade.
once the Indomitus Crusade started,
That's 3.
they were all trained.
He does
on,
know the
They were
law.
all trained on Ultramarines combat doctrine. So when Gilliman went to the Dark Angels and goes, "Here's your 6 chapters worth of Primaris Marines,"
Did they like torture, murder all of them?
Yeah,
they weren't
no,
good.
so-
So they're like, but by the way, but. He goes, I haven't trained them in Dark Angels doctrines. They're all trained.
And
in
then the
Ultramarines
Dark
doctrines.
Angels are like, forget everything you've
So
been
is,
taught.
Sean's, so is Sean's specific edge case, right? I get that you're going to argue that point, but Carl's put something in chat right now, which we'll bring up, right? A known influencer went to a major tournament
Oh, yeah.
and ran Black Templars and took a librarian. Right, now,
Yeah.
to be clear, as per rules,
It was allowed.
perfectly legal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
But the Templars detachment specifically says you can't run librarians for law reasons.
But he didn't
But
run
it
the
was
Templars
Black
attachment.
Templars Gladius,
So but
which
that's
was
where-
incredibly good at the time.
But that's where that player specifically chose to ignore the narrative
yeah.
for a competitive.
Could it be argued?
But I would argue in that scenario, as I don't like it at all because of law, but if he's just going there to win games as much as he can, he's fine.
Okay.
It's in the rules to take
Let
it.
me throw something at you, and I think I know how the both of you are going to respond, but I'd like more than no from you specifically, Jay.
Yeah.
Could a person, perhaps not this individual because of what they're known for, but could a person argue that their Templars, which are a breakaway chapter from Templars, have re-employed librarians? Do you think an individual could, if they put some time and effort into law, actually justify through their own narrative Templars running librarians? Now, I'd argue that if you have Helbrecht and Grimaldus in there, you probably can't.
Yeah.
They're named
If they
characters.
wrote an entire book on why they're allowed to do that, I'd allow it.
Okay, interesting. Because that's their own flavour, right? But you need, for me personally, I think you need to back that up with narrative. Like, if you Helbrecht with a librarian, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, you
narratively.
definitely can't run any epic heroes if you're doing that.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, how about you? How do you feel about that? Like, are you like, no, Templars don't have librarians, and if you choose to go Templars, you're making that sacrifice.
Yeah, it's like. Well,
To be honest, I think if you want to run,
it's basically if you're running Templars, right? This is I'm very close-minded in this. If you're running
What?
Templars, you are choosing the same gaming choice as World Eaters.
yeah, they are basically the same.
They're basically the same. Close combat. They're not rules aren't the same. But
They are the
two
angriest people in the galaxy.
2 angry assault armies
Yeah.
that choose specifically not to have psychers.
They even chain their weapons to their arms,
Yeah.
like because they learned it from World Eaters.
Yeah, if like there are there's like 40 other successor chapters that Games Workshop's given you for all the other chapters.
Yeah, I think
right,
if you
that
just
you could
really
choose
like
from.
librarians,
Yeah.
you could just choose literally any other chapter
Yeah.
of the 1,000 chapters there are.
Yeah.
There's got to be one that's also very angry and
Yeah.
likes punching people that would allow librarians in the lore.
Well, I mean, you can literally use them in any other chapter.
Yeah, literally.
You can literally fill them into Dark Angels.
Yeah,
full of
Dark
Deathwing
Angels.
Knights and
Dark
Encircling
Angels have basically the same aesthetic
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Black Templars.
They're very close.
Don't
yeah.
the Silver Templars, which aren't an Imperial Fist's successor chapter,
Yeah,
have librarians? They're just Black Templars painted silver and red.
I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
Ooh,
That's
that sounds nice.
too deep in the lore for me.
That sounds nice, Silver
Yeah.
and Red Templars.
But yeah, I think
Silver armor, red.
we've
crosses.
all basically
Yeah.
said, haven't we? We think that they should lock down what Space Marine chapters can take and not take a lot
Yeah.
more than they have.
Well, they said when they went to the indexes, like Dark Angels can't take Stern Guard because they have Dark Angels veterans, and then Space Wolves are like, you can't take Assault Marines because you've got
Are you
Swift Claws or
talking
whatever.
about locking down
I'm talking about detachments.
to try and keep it on theme for the
Yeah.
title though? Are you talking about locking down detachments from a rules perspective to stop giving Space Marines access to so much, or from a flavour perspective
I think it's
to get
both,
narrative?
honestly.
Oh,
I think
really?
they would have. So I think they should just get rid of Oath of Moment as the army rule for the like Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Blood Angels. Just give them their own army rule that works better for their own lore.
Yeah. Okay.
Because really, Blood Angels should all be +2 strength attack on the charge, no matter what detachment
I
they're
think they
in.
should be +1 strength, +1 attack.
Yeah.
If it's an army rule.
If it's an army rule, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's probably fair.
Yeah.
Because Dark Angels, they could have their own thing. I can't even remember what detachments Dark Angels have for their rules.
Do you think the current? So there's a question out to both of you. Do you think the current way that 10th edition works with detachments and the way the rules are working is more or less flavourful than we had in 9th edition?
I think it's more flavourful.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think some of the new ones coming out, some of them are so flavourful and some are just not. So like the whole Orc Codex is fucking incredible for rules and flavour. Like every detachment is all right and works in the way you would think it would work for what it's going for in each detachment. And then you look at like the Custodes Codex that came out at the same time. None of the detachments were fun to play, and none of them really worked with the lore of Custodes either.
Yeah.
But you think it's more flavourful overall?
I think there's an attempt at flavour, right? Because before we had it in the before times.
Before times.
It was enforced flavour
Yeah.
with a positive and a negative. If you're playing the primary chapter or the primary regiment or the primary craft world, your army rules suited that specific playstyle.
Yeah.
Right? But if you were more edge cases or successor chapters, it was a negative.
Okay.
Which meant that we saw a massive rise in custom painted armies so they could literally pick and choose what they did. Whereas now, people aren't locked to specific craft worlds, regiments, chapters, legions, because they can pick and choose. So they can actually say, I'm a Night Lords player, right? I'm not forced in playing the rules that Night Lords have been given.
Yeah.
Because historically, the Night Lords
It's
rules
always
have
the
always
worst
been
one.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you can go, I'm a Night Lords player and I can take good rules.
Yeah.
You know, I
crazy.
can take the rules, which means that when I'm fighting people on objectives, I get better AP. Or like my Chaos Warlord likes demon engines. So I'm still Night Lords and I still have my Night Lord units on the tables, but I have more demon engines and they're slightly better.
I think the thing I missed flavour-wise from 9th edition was Warlord traits and relics.
Yeah.
Because they felt a lot more cool to use than enhancements.
But like some detachments,
I agree.
some detachments have really hit the nail on the head narratively for what they're trying to do.
100%, yeah.
So like Creations of Bile
Oh, that's great.
is an incredible flavour one because you've got a random roll off because the mutations that he's put on his people have random effects, which I really, really like.
Yeah.
Look at like things like
The Orc detachment,
the Orc
Tactical
detachment.
Brigade is
Yeah.
awesome.
You got the Vanguard detachment for Tyranids.
That was cool.
Which is all
To be
about
fair,
the
I'd actually
invasion
say
units.
Grotmus has done a lot to put flavour into some
Grotmus has done
armies.
really well for flavour.
I'd say like 9 out of 10.
But I would also argue, so if we remove the rules bloat fact from our argument right now, if we look at this just simply from a flavour perspective, rather than a rules bloat perspective, I think every unit having its own individual rule has done a lot for flavour.
Yeah.
Because that unit that isn't just Space Marines that sit in a specific Force Org slot. It is Space Marines that have this rule, whether that be sticky objectives, extra bullets, whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
That being said, on the flip side, for me, Psychers, we spoke about Psychers a minute ago, have lost a lot of flavour.
That is probably the biggest one.
Psychers used to be able to go, actually, I like the Terramancy discipline and I like these two powers. That's how I feel. So I feel like Psychers, I feel like it's a real seesaw for me in 10th edition right now.
Yeah, I think
individual data sheets having unit rules or special rules is added flavour.
Yeah.
Psychers losing access to lots of random powers and disciplines and going, I know this discipline, Warlord traits and relics going, I think reduces the flavour.
Yeah. I'd like 11th edition to go to the more AOS style of psychic, so we get
with that.
We don't get the psychic phase back because it's the command phase.
I think they could just keep psychic stuff as abilities. I think they just need to make the abilities more interesting and potentially more useful.
I very much like magic being or psychic being in the command phase because it gives your opponent a chance to circumvent it.
Yeah.
So when you do magic or psychic that requires me to be within 18 inches of Tom's World Eaters, right? And I have a movement phase with an Eldar jet bike. I'm like, cool, I fly 14, I'm in range now.
Yeah.
But in the way that AOS works is I fly 14 and Tom goes, I'm in 18 now. I get a movement phase because he can't do it till his command phase.
Yeah.
So I get the chance to pull out the way, or I can go World Eaters and go, I'm coming at you.
But it also means that like psychic armies that are strong psychic armies have a better presence on the table.
Yeah.
Like Thousand Sons, like Eldar.
Well, Thousand Sons are the only ones that have really survived the psychic purge.
Yeah, and then you look at armies that are anti-psychic, like Tyranids, like Sisters of Silence, you know?
Yeah.
Like Necrons and things.
Yeah.
That have like a negative effect on the psychers. They've lost all of that. That's all gone.
Psychic whole as a flavour is fucked off in 10th, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest loss of flavour in 10th edition, actually, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't really like Psychic that much, but it was cool having it in the game.
And there was like a cool kind of mini game that you played in the psychic phase that you still do in AOS, but you don't do now, where you're like...
Where you deny it.
Where you're like, I can die. Like, you've got one army deny, which you can try and stop one of the abilities, but you're like, if I bring a Psyker, if my opponent's got a Psyker, I've got 1 or 2 chances to stop it.
I do think that and there's arguments that have been in chat in the past from people like Gman about Psychic phase when he's a Tau player saying it's completely uninteractive. And I don't think
I agree with that to some extent.
Psychic was, in terms of rules, I don't think Psychic was perfect or good even necessarily in previous editions. But I think we've lost a lot of flavour from Psychic. Back to the actual topic of the stream. The flavour's less.
Because I do remember some games of just someone using Smite 12 times.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the rules weren't good.
Yeah, exactly. But if they did it more like AOS, where it's not just like, here's a shitload of mortal wounds, here's like a buff to that unit or +1 attack to that unit or whatever.
What Age of Sigmar did in terms of flavour was they removed the generic spells.
Yeah.
So, and then
Having
every army had
spells
faction-specific spells that worked towards it. So, like, the vampire spells are like, I do mortal wounds to you, and then I heal, but they've got a really short range, you know?
Kai says, getting rid of the psychic phase, I think, added the flavour of ass to the game.
Yeah. and it was like... so like.
And I love it.
Like, the Eldar spells are a prime example of good spells. They're buffing and debuffing
the
spells.
thing we have to roll a 2?
Like, you had, like, Doom and Protect, and then there was like Guide and something else. So that you had the
Warlock spells. The
Warlock
talking
spell,
about.
yeah.
So the runes of battle, the Warlock spells had a buff and a debuff essentially, or a defensive and an aggressive.
Yeah.
They were not that powerful.
Yeah.
They weren't that powerful. They were okay. They weren't that powerful. You had Quick and Restrain. You had Protect, Jinx, those sorts of things. They were great. You had the runes of the runes of fortune. No, the runes of fate. I think it was, which was all your doom, guides, fortune, which people just took those 3.
Yeah.
And then you had a couple of others that were okay as well, but those were the 3 main ones. Current Eldar is dreadful. Only way you get guide, take a bike seer. Hang on, how does he forget every other power?
You only get Doom if you take Eldrad.
Yeah,
it
just gets a bit of power.
Yeah, because
the thing I'm not a huge fan of is when like it's the same guy but like on a mounted thing and they have a different ability. And it's like, why? He's just
the other thing as well is, with the exception of Thousand Sons, whereby there are some rules that interact with the psychic keywords to buff.
Yeah.
With the exception of Thousand Sons, the psychic ability now isn't flavorful. It's just a unit debuff. Because there's anti-psycho stuff in the game.
Yeah, and
true. I mean, the new Space Marine psycho detachment's pretty cool, I thought.
No, okay,
but isn't the new psycho detachment is just another it's just a worse version of Gladius, though, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Because like each phase, you just pick a thing that happens.
You do pick stuff that happens, but I think it is different though.
And it impacts all psychic keyword units, essentially. I quite like the new psychic detachment.
I think it's pretty cool.
But normally, you put a psychic in a unit, and you're like, if someone else goes, cool, I've got anti-psychic 4+, thanks mate.
Yeah.
Makes my life easier.
Yeah.
Oh, and normally it's a character and infantry.
You really,
so anything that's anti-psychic,
you
anti-infantry,
just really don't want to
anti-character.
play against that one maniac that's running the Sisters of Silence detachment.
Yeah.
There isn't many of them.
There is probably one in the world.
It's just
So it's interesting. I think on the one side, I think again we are at this point. We are removing the focus on rules complication, rules bloat.
Yeah.
I think if we look at data sheets on the whole intent, I think there's more flavour. I think if we look at detachments and the way that people can pick and choose the detachments to suit their own personal narrative, I personally think there's more flavour in 10th right now. I don't like I think there needs to be some more restrictions, specifically around Space Marines, because I don't think you should ever really, in my personal opinion, you should never be able to run a Psyker with Templars. You shouldn't be able to run Calgar in Inner Circle Task Force. You can't, but you shouldn't be able to do that, is what I'm saying. Those sorts of things, there should be those little restrictions here and there. But I do also think that with the lack of Warlord traits and relics, I'm not a fan of the way Enhancements works. I much prefer old Warlord traits, relics, war gear.
There were too many in 9th edition for like armies.
Yeah,
but I think it was a more cool way of using them.
But again, AOS, and I'm not wishing to, because I know a lot of people know that I'm not popular on AOS right now.
Yeah.
But the way AOS does it, you get essentially 3 Warlord traits, 3 relics.
Yeah.
I would like slightly more options than that, and I think there should. I don't like it being free. I think points being attached to enhancements is the right way to go.
100%, yeah.
Especially with the way that the points is probably not going to change. To be honest,
it's also like makes it a lot easier when you have got like 20 points left.
100%.
Yeah.
But if you got 4 Warlord traits, 4 relics, and you've got 40 or 50 points left, it's significantly easier to spend those.
I think you could easily have 5 of each and you'd be fine.
And I really miss the flavour of going, here's my captain, but
Yeah.
I've actually given him this Warlord trait and I've given him this relic.
I would also love it if you could use them on like champions and sergeants and units rather than just...
Which you used to be able to with like things like Artificer War Gear and stuff like that.
That would be a way of bringing back some relevance to sergeants and champions, because at the moment it's just like, oh, he's just dead. I don't
Famously,
care.
Joe says, and I'm inclined to agree with him, that captains and stuff in Space Marines now are basically just sergeants.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
true.
they are,
That's true.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lieutenant is, you're paying 80 points to essentially give your unit lethal hits.
Yeah.
And fall back and charge.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything.
He's not all that impressive on his own.
But I think it would actually help for flavour if you could just give the stuff to sergeants and champions and leaders of units.
If you go, cool, I'm going to pay 20 points.
Jesus.
I'm going to pay 20 points.
That's how
to
Joe
just
wins
give
games.
that unit
It's £20.
Yeah. I'll pay 20 points to give that unit lethal hits.
Yeah, that'd be banging.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to have to worry about an extra model.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to worry about extra rules.
I'm gonna
because it's a fancy enhancement.
Because they already have a
I'm gonna
separate bit in the unit composition for the sergeant in the app.
The one thing I will counter for that at the moment is if you're paying 20 points to just give your sergeant lethal hits, say you've got 3 squads of intercessors, for the sake of argument, right? 3 squads of intercessors, all with bolt guns, each sergeant's got a power fist, they all look the same. Yeah. But that one's got lethal hits because I paid 20 points, and that one's got sustained hits. Yeah. At least if you're going, that one's got lethal hits because there's a lieutenant in it, and that one's got sustained because there's a librarian. I'm like, I know which one's which.
Yeah, that is true.
That's the one argument I'd have for that, is you need to find a way to, for me, I want to be able to, if I go to a tournament, I've got 3 units that are the same, but they all do something slightly different. Yeah. I want my opponent to be able to go, I know which one does which. Yeah. I don't want to have to kind of explain it to them every time, because that can create feels bad. And I've seen it happen.
Yeah, you probably have to get some markers or something.
I've seen it happen. People go, oh no, I killed the unit that had that. Like, no, you didn't. That was that unit. No, I thought it was that unit. I'm like, well, clearly it wasn't clear enough, you know.
That is true.
So I think the only bad thing about... Kai set me off and says, here's my Gabriel Seth. Oh yeah. So the problem that we have got with 10th edition as a whole in terms of narrative, when they tried to put it in with the rules, is that we've lost vast amounts of narrative in things like characters and units.
Yeah, they have cut quite
10th edition is the edition of
now.
loss. You know, Forge World's basically just being swept off the table.
Is it?
Random character like.
Is it the edition of loss? So Blood Angels lost Seth. What do they gain?
A million.
They lost Corpulone, you know, as well.
They gain like 45 captains, Jay. What do you want?
I don't want those
You
captains.
can just
You've got
take
the
any one of
new
those captains.
Sandguards.
You can take any one of those captains, give it any of the rules you want, and use your Seth
How
model.
are you going to feel when the World Eaters Codex comes out and they've gone, oh, there's no angle, there's no Khan.
I
Khan
can't
doesn't
exist.
exist anymore.
Well, why wouldn't he exist? He's got a relatively new plastic kit.
He's dead.
Where,
Yeah.
where was
He can't
Seth's
die.
plastic kit?
Huh?
Where was Yarek's plastic kit?
Joe, as long as I can still run 18 x old 8 bound, I don't give a fuck.
You picked the wrong one when you picked World Eaters.
Yeah.
It's got rid of him. You know. What about? I'm just trying to think like.
It's okay, we'll wait.
It's almost like they picked that character because he's one of the only ones that doesn't have
yeah,
a new
but look
model.
at the Space Marine Codex.
Yeah.
You know, you've still got Vulcan. You've
Yeah.
still got Pedro Cantor. You've still got. Khan's got a new model. There's characters in there that are resin, right?
No, I know, I
And
get
they've
you
kinda
saying.
them. But then
Yeah.
Orc Codex came out. You lost Badrug,
yeah.
You know,
Who
But-
was a really old.
But
he was old, but he was cool. He was.
I
the
know,
cool
I love
pirate
him. I
orc.
love him. And I wish they just gave him a new one.
narratively, could you, and I'm not necessarily saying I agree with this, Jay, I'm playing devil's advocate to be very clear to everybody.
Yeah.
Narratively, could you take one of the many captain options that's now in that Blood Angels Codex, give it an enhancement and a set of war gear, and essentially build yourself a proxy Seth
Yeah.
and call it Seth? Could
You can, yeah.
What
Now,
yeah.
so is your issue at this point the fact that I can't run Seth, or is the issue the fact that you've lost all those rules which were very, very good?
They were very, very good.
and
but
more
also,
narratively Seth.
It was kind of like you go, oh, I've got Seth was Seth. He was special. He was different.
Yeah.
You know, he
Yeah,
had his own
he was
rules.
unique.
He was
yeah,
unique.
I am.
Yeah.
I
You
think
know?
I am on Joe's side
Yeah,
of this. Like,
I-
if Khan was suddenly just here's a Chaos Lord but with cool
No,
rules,
and
I'd rather
I am
just
as well.
have
I'm
Khan.
playing
Yeah.
devil's advocate.
I get
of
it.
course.
Yeah, it's like because the problem is like if you go, you've got a Blood Angels captain, who is the first version of the Blood Angel captain, because you want to take a normal captain because he can have a power sword and a shield, and then you give him the one which gives him sustained hits 3 for 1 turn. You're like, he's Seth for 1 round of combat.
But is that not you just saying I want the stupid rules?
But it's but then the problem is like, but he's
So-
he's
so-
the captain that everyone else
So
has.
what if
whereas
they brought
Seth
Would
is
you rather
different.
have like a captain with good rules or Seth with
So,
meh
but the problem
rules?
is when I ran Flesh Tearers,
He's ignoring me.
when I ran Flesh Tearers with Seth,
yeah.
the negative for me was I couldn't take any other Blood Angels character,
Which you didn't want to because Seth was so good.
and I didn't want to, I
be
didn't need
fair.
to, and I didn't
But,
care.
No one was running.
so Tom's question is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Let's say that in 3 months' time, as a surprise, hey, Blood Angels players, here's a Flesh Tearers detachment,
Yeah.
here's Gabriel Seth,
Yeah.
here's his data sheet, here's his new plastic model,
Yeah.
but his rules completely change. You don't have what you had. You don't have
Yeah.
sustained hits 8 million every time you rolled a 1+, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck it was he did before. Are you going to be happy at this point? You're going to go, it's not the data sheet I had before, I'm still quite sad.
No, I'll take it. Right?
Even if- would you
But at the end of the
still-
day, I know Abaddon is pretty toilet. Right? He does hit like a truck.
Yeah.
But if someone looks at him with like a twitchy eye, he just dies. He's just like, oh, I'm just a slightly worse captain now.
Yeah.
Or a slightly better captain. He's got no defensive stats kind of thing.
You got 9 wins before a pin button.
So
Yeah, but he
considering,
gets one pump by
but considering
a
you
master
had your own
execution,
I
custom,
do
like
think
a
I
third
have
of his
conditioned you a
points.
bit
Yeah.
by
considering you
running
had your own,
warriors.
considering you had your own custom built Seth model anyway,
Yeah.
so you're not, there's nothing stopping you from taking a captain's data sheet with slightly worse rules. So what you're saying is, if they brought out a specific Seth data sheet with worse rules, you'd actually be fine with it, even if it wasn't the same data
Right,
sheet you had
here's-
before. But you can just do that.
Yeah. All right, here's a question for you, right? My answer to that. The TV series The Witcher. You probably don't care because you probably didn't watch it.
I haven't watched it.
I've
no.
seen it.
You've seen it,
Yeah.
right? Henry Cavill was The Witcher.
He was the guy, yeah.
He was the guy, you know?
Yeah.
He's done 3 series.
Yeah.
He's left now.
Yeah, he got
right?
sad.
Got sad. He left. They're replacing him with the Wish version.
With the second best
With-
Hemsworth.
Yeah, the second best Hemsworth. It's not going to be the same program, is
No,
it?
it's gonna suck.
It's going to suck.
I'll be honest,
He-
Joe, it wasn't that great.
Yeah, but you've just said if they bring out a new Seth model, new data sheet with significantly worse rules, you'd be happy.
Yeah, but because it's an official Seth model and rules, and it's fine. But what you're saying, but like the problem is when you say it's like when you have a generic captain with an enhancement, it's like he's
the
only
Wish
Seth for
version.
1 round.
Yeah, I get
He's-
that.
he's
but-
the Wish
So let's
version.
say they take those rules essentially and make those Seth rules and bring
Yeah.
him a data sheet like that. You don't have to pay for an enhancement. You just get 1 round of sustained hits 3.
Yeah, it'll be shit, but I will
You would do it, wouldn't you?
I do because it's him.
Because you love him.
I don't know.
I love him.
I am, like I said, I'm poking the bear on purpose here.
You are.
And I am with you, and I do agree with you. I am playing devil's advocate, but you can see how people can pull that logic apart slightly.
They can pull the logic apart, but it's just like...
What? Yeah.
But it's like, I started Flesh Tearers because of Seth. You know, I started Chaos Space Marines because of Abaddon. I don't start armies because it's good. I started because
Except
I have
Ultramarines.
a connection to that. I started Ultramarines because of Space Marine 2.
Yeah, I know.
Right, so...
You've been conditioned by like 200 hours of the
Yeah,
game.
When did
I
Space
all of a
Marine
sudden
2
I have
come
an
out?
urge to paint things like Raveners and Zangors
yeah,
because
yeah.
of Space Marine 2.
It's just like,
Like,
it's all you do is play
Yeah,
Space Marine 2.
I do these. I play these armies because of a specific reason.
Yeah.
When that reason is taken away, what is the justification to keep doing it? You know.
Yeah.
You know, if they
No,
get,
I do get that. to be
Yeah.
fair.
like
What I found, I don't know if you've read the Tactical Brigade with Orcs, but they've essentially put Badrock's old ability in as an enhancement now. So you can basically take your big mech and give him the old abilities that Badrock had. So they basically just substituted a Badrock for a big mech with an enhancement.
yeah, Lehman Russ.
Smells.
Seth did get Legends rules, and he got better.
Did he?
Yeah, because he can lead.
He can lead more units now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He can lead Blade Guard now.
Also,
So they've just given you everything you wanted, but in Legends.
yeah, you can now take Seth and put him in 6 Blade Guard.
Yeah.
No.
Also, Lehman Russ, you can say to him, look at the camera, Joe. Say happy birthday, Lehman Russ.
Oh, happy birthday, Lehman Russ.
It's his birthday today.
Does he get a wish?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
5 gifted for a wish.
Fair enough.
Do you find it weird on birthday? Not specifically this job. I haven't encountered this job, and I'm quite happy about it. But previous jobs, right? There was like, if it's your birthday, you got to bring in cake.
Oh no, I have experienced that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's my
you can fuck off.
birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
My
HR should be
previous
buying
job
me a
every
cake.
time, yeah.
When I
know?
was in management over the road at Northern Depot, when it was my birthday, I used to buy Indian takeaway. That was their favourite for the shift.
Yeah.
There was 19 people.
Yeah.
Bloody
You were
hell.
doing well, weren't you?
No, I was not, James. I wasn't doing that well.
Because
19 people Indian takeaways. I used to
Quite
buy.
a lot of
That was
money.
expensive. I did that the first time, and I was like, "Oh, that's a tradition I didn't want to start."
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think the
Just a good boss.
Next year, everyone gets
it's
one
just- I always
McDonald's
found it
nuggets.
really weird. And then if it was your birthday and you didn't buy everyone cake and sweets,
Yeah, everyone got
you
really
were the
salty.
bad
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
It's like, oh, Colin bought in cake on his birthday. It's like, well done for Colin. You know. What was worse, right, is that my previous proper job when I was like a van driver, right, I wouldn't be in the building all day, right. So I literally turn up to work at like 4 o'clock in the morning to pick up my van, and they expected me just to leave a cake for everyone else to eat on my
I would not do
birthday.
it for that job.
Yeah.
No.
So what we're saying is, why hasn't Lehman bought us cakes? Is that what you're saying?
Or why hasn't Joe?
Yeah, that's what I'll go with.
Or why hasn't Joe bought us cake for his birthday?
For his birthday, I bought him Chinese takeaway.
Oh, yeah,
It's his
true.
favourite because it's his birthday, so I buy him something.
Yeah.
And for my birthday,
Did he get you anything?
No, he turned up to work.
Oh, fair. Which he's contractually obliged to do.
I know.
I'm
I
actually
didn't have to
lying.
work on your birthday.
He did bring me presents.
Did he?
Yeah.
They didn't get here till the Sunday just gone.
Because I didn't go to his birthday party.
No,
You're not invited?
he was.
I was,
Oh.
yeah. But I didn't go to his birthday party. But I did buy him a birthday/Christmas present.
Well, there was 2 presents.
There was
One
2.
birthday, one Christmas. Yeah. They were beautiful as well.
What did he get you?
Beads.
Anal beads. No, I know.
Does he control them?
I know. I bought him real fancy Lord of the Rings books.
They
Oh,
weren't-
nice.
They weren't actual Lord of the Rings. They were Tolkien books, but they're not like Lord of the Rings. They're
Also, like, stuff
Hobbit
he's
battles
written.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
one was like Realms of Hobbits. So it's like a book. It's a real sexy leather-bound book.
It's so nice.
It's like art book about
It's
all
like a
the different,
suede cover on it.
like
as
Yeah,
well.
I can
Hobbit
imagine
life.
you'd like that.
And then there was like Battles of Middle Earth,
That's
which was
pretty
like
cool.
all about all the different fights.
And they're
stuff.
both now sat on my bookshelf next to my limited edition Lord of the Rings series.
I saw
That's
them
good.
and I was like, they're a bit sexy.
Yeah.
I was like, do I buy him a present? And part of me was like, fuck him. But then part of me was like, they are really, really
What's
nice.
he
Part of
ever
him was
done
like,
for you?
part of him was like, fuck him, but part of him was like, I really like that Christmas bonus this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he has been good to me.
He does, you
Should
know,
probably
employ
do
you.
something. Yeah.
Clip it, chat.
Yeah.
He has been good to me. It's the best I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't say
The
it's
one
the
and
best
only
you're gonna get.
time.
So, If you could define flavour in Warhammer 40k with a single sentence, Joe, and that doesn't mean just don't take a breath, with a single sentence, how are you defining flavour in Warhammer 40k?
Right. It's going to sound real obnoxious. A individual's personal choice on playing an army based on either a book or Codex rules throughout a period of time.
So you could argue that 10th edition is full of flavour.
Yeah.
How about you, Tom?
Yeah,
Define flavour for me.
For actually playing the game, I'd say it's the army. You choose the army that you like from the lore, and it actually plays the way you want it to based on what you've read in the lore.
So again, would you say 10th nails that?
Oh yeah, 90. Well, probably like 80% of the time. There's definitely a few detachments where I'm like, why?
I think.
So I'm similar. For me, it's the ability to select rules.
It's playing.
What's that noise? For me, flavour is the ability to select rules based on a narrative that you want to tell.
Yeah, because playing, it's wish fulfillment, isn't it? It's running the cool army that you like from the lore and actually trying to like recreate it in the way you want to do it.
But this is where I differentiate from you two slightly. So I agree with you 100%. But I like the idea that players are allowed to come away from the established lore that exists. And create their own.
So it kind of works in that way as well. So it doesn't even have to be based off lore, does it? It just has to play the way you
based
like
off your narrative,
things to play.
Whatever it might be.
So you could just write your own narrative of like Ultramarines riding bikes everywhere and play Stormlance.
Yeah, but going back to like the guard problem, you know.
Is the guard problem that the guard players are the problem?
Standing in the way of
me.
right, standing.
Joe's already poisoned me this week.
Standing in the way of every Warhammer player based on narrative at the moment, and like I said, with 10th edition been a kind of initiative loss, is autism.
Oh no.
ADHD, not liking change, right? Because we've all got it. Let's be honest. We're all on a scale, right? That's why we do this hobby. And that's why we love it.
It's called a spectrum.
Yeah, we're all on the spectrum. You know.
There you go. That's about.
Right.
Joe
we're all on a sliding scale, right? Yeah. We don't like change, right? We don't like it when things go away, right? And when things come in and they're not exactly how we want them. You know?
Agree.
Right. A great example of this is on Teen Titans. When I've talked about this before. There's a great episode of Teen Titans. We should all go watch it. It's all about the release of Thundercats Go, right? Okay. Which is based on real life events where people were sending death threats to Nickelodeon because they changed the art style. Nickelodeon announced they were releasing Thundercats, and people who were born in the 80s were sending death threats to a cartoon creator aimed at children. Right.
Yeah, I think to expand on that, I think also the older the Warhammer player is, the less they like change.
Yeah, and we've talked about this in the past where we're part of a very old guard of back in my day, you know.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, models cost a tuppence.
If a person comes to Warhammer right now, well, I say right now, if a person comes to Warhammer in 3 weeks' time after the Guard Codex is released, and they buy that as their first ever Codex because they think, oh, that's some sexy looking men with gas masks, I quite like it, and they read that Codex, they're only different.
They're probably like, oh,
great
cool,
flavour.
There's 3 options, great.
Yeah, if you played Warhammer in...
Adam says, what scale? We just love trains!
Yeah, what was your previous job?
Yeah. I was talking to someone the other day and he was like, oh, he's really into tractors. And
oh, God.
Like, I love a good tractor.
Yeah.
Fucking love a good tractor.
Yeah. So
I really want to drive a tractor, by the way.
There's something about,
the thing I want to do.
There's something about that sliding scale that really likes industrial sized
There's something about engineering, isn't there? Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's a big lorry.
I love it. Yeah. That's why I went and played with giant fucking military helicopters.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Perfect for you.
So like if you played anywhere between like 2nd and 5th edition and then just kind of dropped out because of life and kids and university or whatever, or job.
That's what I did.
Right? You look at Warhammer now and you go, this stuff's cool. I didn't have that back then.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get into it now because I want to do World War I French infantry with
in
40k with massed artillery support. I can do that now.
Yeah.
But like it's just a case of like we all now have to learn to adjust. This is where
Yeah, I think that's the problem.
like I accept times when I'm wrong. You know,
When?
sometimes.
No.
When?
Yeah,
Surely not.
I went for a brief period where I was happy. I would have been happy if I walked out the door and never came back again. You know,
I was sensing that.
yeah.
He said it quite
I
frequently.
could have set fire to this building and ran away laughing.
Not because of me, I would like
Not
to.
because of because of my attitude to 40k, right? I was like, this is awful. I hate it. Everything's bad. Everything's wrong. Like I kept losing all the time, and I wasn't enjoying it. You know,
Yeah.
so I had to have like a bit of like. It's a bend or break kind of situation, you know. I need to accept how things are now and play the way that the game wants me to play. And then it
which
gets
is exactly
better.
what I did.
Yeah,
So I get it.
you know, like I was up against the wall with my Chaos Space Marines because I was like, I want to play in a specific way because that's how I like it narratively, but that just doesn't function anymore. It might function in the future. We might get a detachment where it functions, but until then, if I want to keep playing Chaos Space Marines, I have to play the way the Games Workshop's currently telling me to do it.
Yeah, if you want to win, I think is the option there.
Yeah, like
if you're not that bothered out winning and you just want
let's
to
be fair, having a fighting chance and occasionally winning is fun.
I think in the
Yes.
job you have definitely as
Having a
well.
fighting chance is the key point there, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I've seen people in comments all the time, I don't care about winning, I just want to play narratively. I'm like, yeah, but you want the chance to win. If you go to a table going, I'm going to lose, why are you playing?
It does, yeah. I think it's less fun for both people involved when one of them just doesn't care if they win or not.
Yeah, like I'm going.
I don't know if that's just me, but
yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, it's if you're both winning.
I think a competitive game is not in sense of like a maximum efficiency. I just mean in terms of both people are interested in winning.
Yeah.
I think that's the most fun you can have playing the game.
Yeah.
But you are right with what you said about the spectrum as well. And being adaptable typically is a trait that is not necessarily all that common.
No.
I think it's not common in the human race,
to a
be
changing
honest.
situation in a changing environment. Now, the problem we do have in Warhammer 40k, Warhammer in general actually, I'm conscious we've got a lot of super chats to jump into, and we're already at 2:30. We normally do that at 2 o'clock. But this is an interesting discussion, I think. But I think that we have to accept now, with 3-year cycles on rules and how frequent codexes are going to come out, that actually with 6 monthly balanced data state updates, 6 monthly points updates, perhaps quarterly points updates, annual mission pack updates, 3 yearly rules changes, included with codex refreshes, we're probably now sitting in a hobby that's going to be subjected to continuous change. I think we just have to kind of accept that. But you're right. We all, I think most of us sit on the spectrum in some way or another. And typically people that sit on that spectrum do not like change or adapt to it very well.
Ironically, I think GW need to actually change their attitude to the rules coming out because they've now gone for this style of every 6 or 3 months we're going to change the rules a bit, but we're still going to do all the rules in print. So none of the print work.
Games Workshop have turned into computer game designers
but
in reference to how a system works.
It does not work when you're trying to do it on printed books.
In printed media.
Because it worked when you were like, you're going to have this codex and you're going to have it for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, it's shit if it's bad, obviously. Yeah. But now they've gone for like the video game style, 3 to 6 months will change at least something.
We release it, it's broken.
Yeah, we release it, all the points are wrong.
Yeah.
Half the data sheets are wrong.
Yeah.
And
here's your
you can't
day one
use
update.
the book in any way.
Yeah.
You're basically buying the code to get the rules.
Yeah, and then, but it doesn't,
for an app that's great, but it's overly paywall.
I love the app, but you already have to pay a $5 a month just to look at any rules.
Yeah,
and then you have to buy a codex to look at the rules you like.
Someone said earlier, I can't remember who it was saying like, it's now the 10th of January, so the Grotma stuff was out 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, why is that not
on the app yet?
on the app yet?
It is, it came on yesterday.
Mine hasn't had an update.
I think I might have just missed the update then.
Update yesterday. My Apple one.
But then that's the problem, is that some people's stuff
surprised
doesn't
they didn't ask
update.
about it.
Grotman's updated yesterday.
Hang on. Apps details in store. Oh, open. Let's have a look. It depends, because sometimes they update the things. So if I go there, Blood
I
Angels,
got Vessels of Wrath. There we go.
edit roster,
So we're wrong.
Liberius Conclave, Angelic
That
Host.
being said, it did only come on yesterday. So
And
your
they
argument
didn't tell anyone.
Your argument sort of stands.
Yeah.
it does sort of stand like it's a long way after it coming out. I also get them not doing it every day because that's a pain in the fucking arse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't expect that, but I thought like first
But
week.
it's like the problem is like when they do like release a book and you're like, these are the rules that have been play tested 6 months ago.
Yeah, that's the issue.
You've updated the game twice since the release, since that game was.
I still think they should sell codexes. I just don't think they should be the only source of rules.
I think when they sell out and print the next lot, they have to print the new version of the rules, or the most updated version that they currently do.
I think that takes so much time.
The problem is, so I know I like where you're thinking, but from a logistical perspective for a business, it opens themselves up to so many problems because you could end up with Games Workshop Southampton having the original print version and Games Workshop Portsmouth having the new print version, and they're both selling them for the same price.
Yeah,
you just can't do it.
But then at the same time, they're selling the AdMech book at full price currently now,
which is laughable. Exactly, I agree.
That is insane.
Now, before you, because we have a lot of super chat comments that have come through, which is amazing. If you've got your own opinions on what is or isn't flavour, how you like to represent that flavour, etc., please feel free to chuck them on colourful postcards. We do normally overrun by half an hour, and it's the three of us because we like to chat, as you've probably been able to tell. However, we do at the moment at least only have 10 gifted memberships. So before Joe goes for his inevitable wee that he's probably about to do because we're an hour in, you feeling the need?
I know, but now you've mentioned it. No, it's all right. It's all right.
I'll blame Liam.
We'll start.
So I was going to do the two hopes first before you then need to dive away.
Then,
Wee Man, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
I hope, Wee Man, if you have to go and sit in A&E for 10 hours, you get to sit in the orthopaedic chair.
What, the one that
the
you're only supposed to use if you're over 80?
Yeah.
Interesting.
You get the one comfortable chair.
I hope you're the only person there as well.
And the vending machine works.
The one I went to, the vending machines were like really, really modern, and it took me like 5 minutes to figure out how to get something out of it.
Yeah, I had that problem in Salisbury a couple
You had
months
to like
ago.
press the start button and then press another button if you wanted to use card or not, and then press another button.
Joe's problem was he wasn't prepared to pay any money, he was just shaking it.
Oh yeah.
And then like,
a hammer.
and obviously like I'm used to the idea of like when I was at school, you put £1 in, you do your code to get your drink, it drops the drink out, gives you the change, then you put your change back in and then do the code.
There's no cash anymore.
There's no cash anymore, right? So you got to use your card, and now you basically do like a little shopping list of different numbers, and then you pick it, and then it just drops all of it. Or it goes like a little machine arm goes here, and then there, and then here, and then there.
It's all like touchscreen, fancy, crazy.
Hopefully, for me, Wee Man, I hope you never have to go to A&E.
Yeah.
But Joe just wants you to sit on the
That
sofa.
would be better.
Salisbury Hospital, because I've been there quite a few times over the last year. The vending machine in A&E never has any cups for coffee. Grips my shit.
Nothing anything, no.
Yeah, so we were like, every time we've gone, after like the 4th time, we were like...
Take their own cups.
We were like, take fucking travel cups with us.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well.
Thank you so much, 95 Ginger Age, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, 95 Ginger Range. I hope that a buzzard makes a nest in a tree within viewing distance of your house, probably within 20 metres, so you get a good view.
Common or
That's
Eurasian?
quite close.
Common or Eurasian buzzard?
Common. Or a red kite, because they're massive.
I mean, they're not too dissimilar in size to buzzards.
Yeah.
They're a bit bigger, I think.
They've got different tail shapes.
They have got different tail shapes, correct, yeah. Red kites were almost extinct in this country until they did a release programme.
Yeah.
That was a shitload.
Really common around Reading, of all places.
Yeah, the M4 corridor is very, very busy with
Buckinghamshire
red kites.
loads.
I know lots about birds of prey, Jay.
I know.
We should do a team day to the Hawke Conservancy Trust.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite places to get ever.
I sometimes get to feel smart when I'm with my family.
Lies.
I'm like, oh, look at that bird, a kestrel, a buzzard, a woodpecker. And they're like, how do you know all these things? I'm like, so countrified.
Such a country lad.
Yeah.
We used to go hunting with red-tailed hawks or Harris hawks.
With machine guns.
Fucking no.
That really takes
I
the
used to
fun
go
out of it.
hunting with 3 Apaches,
It's always my favourite thing in the world. Man and bird hunting game was incredible. It was really good.
I like to imagine you with like one of those like balaclavas, but like also in the shape of a bird's head,
You told me you like to imagine him naked.
Yeah.
with
Why would I
the
wear-
balaclava.
Why would I wear a balaclava?
Because you're like a team. You're working together. You know, you look. It's like your uniform.
Why
You
is
dress
he in
up
a
as the
balaclava
birds.
though?
Like Batman. You know, like
Do you know,
Falcon Man.
Harris hawks are, or Harris's hawk is the correct pronunciation, is one of the only birds of prey in existence that actually hunt in packs.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
And they
No.
belong to. You can only have one if you're called Harris.
Typically 3 or 4 males and 1 female, the female being the largest out of the pack. And what they would do is as they would sort of steer the prey by flying alongside and tree hopping, and the female would come in for the kill because she's more weighty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a big.
They have
Joe does
little-
like a
they have
weighty
little-
female.
They have a little white flash on their tail, and when they land, they wiggle their tail like that, and that's a little white flash. You see the flash in the distance because it wiggles, and that's when you're hunting
Pretty
with
cool.
one and you throw it off, and it hits the tail, it wigs its tail, it's going, follow me,
Yeah.
and then you follow it, and then it ends up killing something. Fucking
So
great.
birds and trains are on the autism list.
Yeah, and tractors, giant lorries. Harbour, thank you for 5 gifted memberships!
Legends.
Exclamation mark Vortex.
Yeah. I hope, Harborn, that next time you go to your local bakery to get your favourite sweet treat, they've literally just put out a brand new fresh batch warm.
That's good.
That's a good
That's
hope,
a
that one.
banger, that is.
I'm a fan of that one. And thank you, Ockigdor, Tank, and Lisby, all for the 1 gifted. We're up to 18.
Obviously, you know, I like to go to Aldi and Lidl. Lidl has an incredible bakery. Right?
It
And I'm
does.
one of those people that, because you walk around, they've got the big ovens going in the background, it's pigging. And I'm like, the oven's going, it's pigging, it's ready, it's ready.
Joe's
I don't care what it is, just put it
Give
in
it
me.
to me.
You know?
Joe's just camped out while
Yeah.
the oven's going.
So after we gave Lehman Russ some abuse for not bringing caking for the birthday, the first super chat of the stream is, thank you Lehman Russ for the $4.99. Here is some birthday money. I now have officially turned 31.
Well done. We'll go and buy a cake now.
We'll
in your
buy
honour.
cakes for you and eat them for
Yeah,
you.
we should go to Costco because they sell those thick boys.
Banging big cakes. Yeah. Big old. I have got a Costco card. You have one as well. Yeah. For the business.
Ooh,
Yeah.
business Costco.
Business Costco card. Stick Monkey, thank you for the 2. Show us your wound, Thomas. He doesn't have a
Not
wound.
got one,
Just gas,
unfortunately.
wasn't it? Just bad wind.
I asked for them to take it out anyway, so they don't have to come back.
Well, yeah, you might as well.
Yeah, as I'm there. But they didn't go for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for the 2, though, Stick
you,
Monkey.
Joe.
There is no wound. He is perfectly fine.
Joe tried, but
Joe just tried to poison him because he might become the favourite.
Yeah. Well, you did say literally earlier. That's why you're my favourite, Tom.
Got to keep you on your toes, Joe.
He's making you work for it now.
Yeah.
You're making him work for it.
That's true.
Lively Panther, thank you for the 5. Thanks, Dan. Tom's alive! You really took Joe's Nurgle suggestion to heart, or at least to your gut.
I mean, yeah, I will play Nurgle,
Yeah.
but I'm not telling you to Beachhead.
I think no, you don't have to take it to beach head. I just think like it makes the whole situation cleaner. You know, like I'm Sinesh, he's Corn, Paddy's Zinch. You're
Kai
Nurgle.
says the rarest UK bird is a Newport girl who wears a dress below the knees. Only 2 have ever been seen.
Yeah.
The 2 are not real. They're unconfirmed.
There's there's an Instagram page.
Joe, stop trying to take corn away from me.
I'm done with playing World Eaters.
When can I play Worldies into Joe?
Soon.
Nice.
TM.
The
Right?
Yeah, I fucking would.
we'll just replay this game.
You want to play World Eaters tonight? You play World Eaters tonight tomorrow.
Oh, I said
I
I'll
mean,
do
I'm definitely
Raven
down
Guard.
for that. I mean, although I have done a lot of corn since.
Who wants
I
me?
could play. I'll play Nurgle Demons into him.
Okay,
Yeah.
you keep talking, Joe.
'Cause I did say I was going to run Raven Guard because I'm one of them ages. There's an Instagram page called like Manchester Nightlife.
Yeah.
And it's just some guy walking around Manchester between like 10 o'clock
He's
and
just filming
midnight.
people.
Just filming people,
Yeah.
stumbling around. And I remember like
It was. Yeah.
we had the snow really bad last year. Well, then Manchester's always got snow.
It's
all the time
always
because
pretty
it's free.
cold, isn't it?
Literally, there's snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And there's men and women literally wearing nothing.
Yeah, it's
Right.
mental, innit?
Like
You're definitely playing Raven Guard.
Yeah. I was like, these people are built different.
Yeah.
Like, there's girls that are
I
basically.
don't understand how like girls go out in winter because they just don't wear clothes.
No.
How do they not all have frostbite?
Yeah, or they probably have. You know,
Maybe they do,
They just
yeah,
don't
maybe
feel
that's-
anything anymore.
Yeah, it's
all their
just
skin
numb.
and nerves are dead.
The alcohol
You know?
numbs you.
It's like when we come out the studio and go up that way.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't normally go out that way.
No,
There's
I
a
don't
couple
go
of
that
bars
way.
like
Oh, what, the Hobbit? Yeah.
And you want to watch what they're wearing in the winter then at like -3.
In my previous job where I used to have to go interact with those people sober,
Yeah.
it was insane what they were doing. Like -3 in winter.
Yeah. Yet somehow managed to smuggle an entire wine glass out of like a
Out of something,
out of something. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, how have you got that? Like, where's this bottle come from? Yeah.
Oh.
There you go. Well, let the people decide, Tom.
You done rave on. It's rave in.
Rave on! Rave on guard.
Everyone vote for World Eaters. Oh no, I'm losing.
Oh, you went to 0.
It went 60, 0.
60, 57, 0.
There we go. There we know, won't we? I put Tom with World Eaters and Liam with Eldar.
Yeah.
We put.
The people shall decide.
Right. Do we have any more gifteds? No, fuck you lot. Right,
Which Eldar would you do?
just normal Eldar.
Ah, fair.
Well, I thought about Drakari Quins, but I'd probably do Eldar.
That one does look like a bit of a headache.
Yeah, I need to read the rules on that one more than 5 minutes before stream.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
one of the ones you really have to read.
Yeah. Tattoo-dologist, thank you for the 2. Hello from the Joe Fan Club in Cambridge. 5 members.
Oh, it's growing.
Yeah. Thank you, Limey Panda, for the 10. I'll say what Liam won't. Guardsman players are babies. They're happy to see Space Marine chapters get squished into detachments, but heavens forbid the Guardsman 475th nipple babyman disappear.
Yeah, as a World Eaters player, I'm finding it quite difficult to sympathise with the people that now have 3 basic battle line options.
Yeah.
When that's more than I have non-named characters.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, well, yeah. And they have more named characters than you do.
They have more everything than me, Joe,
Yeah.
because they've been around
Like,
forever.
let's be honest, like, Guard are quite well off in terms of armies. Like, if you compare Guard to...
They must have one of the biggest model ranges, surely.
Oh, 100%. They're
Even with the recent
their
cults,
unit
like,
counts have got to be higher than Tau, Orcs...
They have
Necrons.
one of the biggest model ranges, and they've had one of the best 10th edition launch boxes.
Yeah. They have got phenomenal amounts of options.
And they have some of the best rules.
And they're the only faction in the game that has army options, command squad, basic infantry, heavy weapon squads, where they sell 3 different versions of it.
They also have like every kill team
soon
that
to
comes
sell
out.
Here's the other thing as well, right? Because I saw the other day people going, "Oh, I want more catchers. Why aren't there more catchers? Why haven't they updated the catching?" I'm like, you've just had a fucking complete Cadian range refresh alongside a brand new tank with the Rogue.
I'd be incredibly happy if any of my armies got that.
That's incredible. Like that's Cadian infantry, Cadian heavy weapons, bombast field batteries, Kazakin, Aquilans have all come out. Like all that's come out. Now you've got a complete Krieg range refresh from resin to plastic.
That's
when
mental, isn't it?
When Games Workshop announced Krieg, right, and they put the Krieg images on Facebook and Instagram, where it's like, here's your new here's your new horse commander, here's your new cavalry, here's your new elite team, here's your new artillery, here's all this, right? And then they're like, we're showing off all the new Eldar range, blah, blah. And they're like, where's Badruck? So we're not talking about orcs today, quite clearly. We're talking about Eldar and Guard.
But like,
and then someone's like, where's my grot tanks?
Yeah.
No
People,
one's ever had
well, they're never going to drop it, are they? Until they come back into the game.
Yeah.
But
It's always the same. Games Workshop will announce a thing for an army, and there'll be 100 people that will ask for something.
There'll be someone who's like, "Where's my Space Marine character that has been out of practice
If Games
for 4
Workshops,
years?"
if every single announce stream from Games Workshop did a single thing for every single faction in the game, 40k, someone would still complain somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Well, Colin painting Avengers Catachans will be refresh for 11.
Someone would probably complain there's like a saturation in the market of models.
Yeah, they would. I'd be honest with you, I'll hold my hands up and say that I am both glad that Krieg came first, because they're my favourite, but also surprised that they did do Krieg pre-Catachans. If you think even Kill Team box, for me it made more sense to do a Catachan jungle fighting Kill Team box with heavy Predator vibes than it did to just do a generic Krieg Kill Team with masks on. I'm glad they did, because I wanted Krieg.
Why wasn't the the Striking Scorpion kill team versus Gman.
I mean, that was screaming for it, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
God.
like with new Warhammer,
I think-
cool tree terrain.
Yeah.
Catachan are like the one thing that would get me into Guard, I think. They're so fucking cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially Slime
I'd kill a
Arbo.
man
I have
Catachan.
in my mind, I've not actually said this out publicly yet, I have decided, Joe, that I'm committing to 3 factions that I'm going to collect on my own.
Yeah.
Everything else you can do if you want to. In terms of building and painting. Not necessarily
Can
playing.
you guess
but-
what they are?
I mean, you can guess easily what at least 2 of them are.
Eldar,
Yeah,
Krieg,
yeah.
Black Templar?
Yeah?
Yeah.
No. it's not
I was
hard.
like, which one is it this week?
Because I've got Black Templars, melee, because there's no point me doing World Eaters, because he's painted most of the World Eaters already, so you might as well just add to them, right?
Yeah.
And actually, I'm probably going to relinquish the playing of World Eaters to yourself, because I could just learn another faction, then we get
Yeah,
more
true.
options.
Black
So-
Templars are basically World Eaters.
So we've got, so exactly, right?
Yeah.
So I've got the Black Templars, which play melee, heavy, power armor.
Yeah, really cool.
Box tick, right? I've then got Krieg. I want swathes of over-the-top infantry, cavalry, and guns.
Big artillery.
So it's shooting army.
Yeah.
Tick. And you got Eldar. Does everything in between and probably a little bit.
That's
better.
just your favourite, isn't it?
Just my favourite
Yeah.
forever. Yeah. There you go. That's what I'm going
Fair.
to do. So I am going to.
Good variety.
I'm just going to stick to those 3 because there's
Yep.
no point me touching anything else. Quite honestly,
Yeah.
there just isn't any point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I'll rate that.
Because I won't get things finished in time anyway. So we have a Krieg, we have a Templar army here already that I can add a couple bits to, and I've got limited pressure. They won't look quite the same. Who gives a fuck? They won't cost me thousands of pounds either.
I mean, yeah.
I've got an Eldar army that Joe's painted, so I can play Eldar,
Yeah.
and we've got a Guard army. So,
Takes-
and guess what? I could take the fucking Valhallans, and I could just use them as Kriegers.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were just talking about.
And then me and Joe can just have a fight for who does chaos.
I love chaos. I just struggle with model. But then like we said, we find ways around it as well.
Oh,
right?
yeah. It's
So,
like what you've done with the obliterators.
Yeah, like I don't
You just
like.
got the cool robot people
yeah,
instead.
So we were talking about these guys
Commander.
are trying to push me into World Eaters. I was like, I could be tempted.
No,
to
we
not
weren't.
Well, no,
I
I
could
think
be
we were
tempted-
just commenting on the fact
Yeah.
that you would
They
like
just-
that as a rule set.
Yeah, World Eaters do
Everything you want.
everything I want from chaos.
Yeah.
But I really struggle with.
You don't like
8-bound
8-bound, do you?
8-bound models just look. They all look like they're straining for a massive shit.
So they're very Joe.
Yeah, they literally emulate you.
Yeah, but I'm not built like them. You know,
That's true,
I'm not.
that's true.
I'm not absolutely jacked, and I don't have chainsaws for arms.
You're not 12 foot tall.
yeah, always training for a poo.
I mean, you
But-
are always training.
Yeah, but it's like, well, I could just do possessed models. I could use Gal Vorback models. You know, like there are ways around it.
Yeah, of course there is.
Yeah, so
Where you can basically introduce your own flavour.
yeah,
Flavour.
What about round
because
there?
you could say, right, I could paint a word bearer's army, right? I could paint a word bearer's army using Gal Vorback models as 8-bound. This is
Yeah.
my possessed army, you know, because that's very word bearery, right?
Word what?
Word bearers is easy. You know, you can run the cool Gal Vorback as 8-bound.
Yeah.
And then you could get a cool fucking Demon Prince guy to run as Angron. Done.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. I do wonder if, like, the Emperor's Children Codex will just become your main chaos thing.
This is a very strong chance.
Because if they play in, like...
They're going to play exactly how I want
Yeah.
to play the game.
Depends entirely on what the rules are like, Tom.
Yeah, this is
No,
very
I
true.
don't
But I
know.
can imagine,
I really want to. I'm
extremely fast melee army.
No, it absolutely does depend on what the rules are like. Because you love chaos, but you don't want to play them at the moment because the rules don't play the way you want them to play.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they have
but
to
that's
be good.
what I'm not thinking of. I'm currently choosing not to play them because they are garbage. Because how it affects me mentally.
I'm
you know?
not saying
Yeah.
I'm not saying Emperor's Children have to be necessarily good. They have to be able to play the way that you want them to play. Is the caveat?
I think
there.
they will because it's an elite combat army that with initial
You'd
smattering. of shooting.
imagine, based off narrative,
Yeah.
that they'd be a really strong combat army that dies pretty quick.
Probably.
But that does sound kind of similar to World Eaters, so I don't know.
Yeah.
They'll
Thank
have to
you
have
so
something
much.
a bit
Thank
different.
you so much, Brian Garrett, for the one gifted membership.
Yeah. I wonder if there'd be more of a horde army. than one.
Let's move on. Thank you for that one gifted. We're on 19, Joe.
19.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I mean, it's
Kind
okay.
of.
It's okay. Kazari, thank you for the 10. Detachments are more generic, Gladius instead of Ultramarines, but they're making squads less generic, Nemesis Claw. Good if they keep expanding the range, otherwise it's ultimately limiting, harder to balance.
Yeah.
Is it harder to balance? Would you say it's harder to balance that way around?
I think it might be easier, to be honest. I think detachments being more generic is probably easier.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, if you go, what's difficult is, where it is harder to balance is if you take, for example, Calgar, right?
Yeah.
And if you have an Ultramarines detachment, that's the only one you can take Calgar in, arguably that scenario is easy to balance.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Because you can only go in one detachment. If you take Calgar now, who can go in 10 detachments, it's a little bit harder. Because in one he might be absolutely badass, in another one he might be flat useless. If we look at individual data sheets like Nemesis Claw, well actually their rules being on their data sheet rather than in a detachment arguably makes them easy to balance. But if you then look at them, if they work the same way in every kind of detachment.
That's the thing, isn't it, though? Their rules are probably going to be better in certain detachments over other detachments than the points. You can't...
I was going to say, like people running Blood Angels, for instance, aren't running the Librarian detachment.
Probably not. They're probably not running Anvil Siege Force, are they?
Yeah, so it's easier to
balance.
balance.
Of that Librarian detachment coming out, by the way, after Blood Angels lose Librarian Dreadnoughts.
Oh,
funny.
Yeah. So I swear someone at GW just doesn't like Blood Angels. I said they definitely don't like Flesh Terrors.
It's essentially the Blood Ravens detachment.
Yeah.
Because they're all about librarians.
Oh, are they the one that steal everything?
Yeah, they're from Dawn of War.
Yeah, I like the memes about them.
Thank you, Kazarian, for the 10 enemy legends. I think it is slightly harder to balance, yeah.
It could be.
But I do from a pure flavour perspective, things like the Nemesis Claws rules are really good.
Yeah,
I like the fact they have those rules.
I think they should lean more into like the Nemesis Claw style of like you don't have to have like you don't have to have an entire Night Lords range. No. But you could have one unit which is very clearly Night Lords.
Yeah, well, I think because it's like an upgrade sprue that they've done, it means that you don't have to invest in Forge World. No, you could just buy that sprue multiple times.
I'd imagine you can then put it bits
over
from that sprue on more than just Legionnaires. Like you could probably chuck it on Raptors and stuff.
I'm slightly miffed at Games Workshop for locking that sprue because it is a sprue. I think it's
as a kill team.
As a kill team.
Yeah, that's a bit annoying.
Right, when they sell the Blood Angels and Dark Angels upgrades
I get
as a box. Because they're locking it behind a
you basically
kill
have to
team
buy
which has Legionnaires. So you have to have Legionnaires as well.
I'm guessing it's like 45 quid or something.
It's £47.
Oh my God.
Nearly 50 quid. Whereas I'd much rather just spend 20 quid on the sprues.
You get the kill team cards now, Tom.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Those really useful things that no one wants to use.
If you don't play kill team, right?
I swear, I would love to know the stats on what percentage of kill team goes to 40k over kill team.
Yes, I would like to know that as well.
But
we'll never be able to find that out.
It's impossible.
Whoever's in charge of the kill team department is laughing their head off because they look really fucking good.
Yeah, they're like, wow, everyone's buying his kill team.
With the Krieg box coming out this weekend, Joe, they're about to look fucking incredible.
Yeah. They're like, we're doing really good.
Hang on a minute, we've just sold 100 fucking Krieg kill teams.
Yeah.
God, what a successful game.
How good Kill Team is.
Yeah, we sold loads of Kill Team starter box with...
Just don't look at how many people are signing up to Kill Team events.
It's like Kill Team looked really, really good when they gave when they bought out Kassakin.
Yeah.
You couldn't get hold of that Kill Team box for love
everyone was
money.
running 30 in every guard list.
But the people were spending essentially 300 quid because you had 30 guys that put out like 100 mortal wounds a turn.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, anyway, Martin Easterman, thank you for the $20. Core issue is that narrative players are co-mingling with competitive players because events are competitive based, and so to the rules used, thus narrative spectators are commentating on an event from the wrong perspective. I think I get what he's saying. What I think Martin's getting at here is what's put on is Pariah Nexus GTs. Which means anyone from your hyper-competitive wants to compete in the ITC to your super narrative wants to go and have fun 5 games of Warhammer are going to the same event.
Yeah.
Because that's all that people put on nowadays. They don't really put on narrative events for narrative players, competitive events for competitive players.
Yeah, narrative has kind of died in 10th edition.
And I think he makes a good point there.
I agree. I think they need another rule set just for. I mean, not like an entire rule set for every datasheet, but just like another way of playing the game.
Zint says, guy in my one Discord literally just bought 8 Krieg kill team boxes. See, exactly. Super powerful now. Krieg, OP and kill team.
Kill team is the most successful game they have.
It's like the biggest problem that narrative has at the moment. It has a bit of an image problem, I think, because it's kind of like they're like the not cool kids off on the side because they're not playing competitively, playing for points. They're playing for fun. What weirdos, right? And but also there's also for some reason for narrative events. I know the reason why. I'll explain it. Narrative events come at a higher price point as well because they're kind of given a bit more of a prestige in the sense that like you can't just go out and buy 10 to 20 sets of MDF laser cut terrain because narrative players expect a bit more.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so if you want to do your own narrative events, you're going out and you're buying Game at EU terrain. You're buying
you might be
like the
custom
GW
building
stuff.
Yeah.
You want to make cool, fancy tables which come at a higher cost.
Yeah, I think narrative you really have to have good terrain.
Yeah, and I think a lot of players, there is a market out there for people that want to go and play fun narrative events.
Yeah.
But but for tournament organisers, there's a much higher barrier to entry.
It's a huge money sink, isn't it, to set up a narrative event?
And then,
which is mainly why GW do it a lot, and not many other people do it that much.
And then the problem is the people that think they're setting up narrative events. Like I've got 15 tables here 16 tables for 32 people. Every table is different. All the layouts are great, and then people turn up and they're like, "Oh, this isn't a narrative event. This is just a Warhammer event with fun and fancy tables."
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, how much work do I then, as a TO, have to put in to make it a narrative event to justify some people's
you basically
needs?
have to write your own rule set for the event, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because then people will come and, like you said, like we've said, is like, how do you dictate narrative? You know, does every mission have to come with its own story? You know, does everything have to come with their own custom cards, or is it the event is based around the invasion of one particular planet? Each table represents
The problem is the expectation on a competitive GT is relatively narrow, in terms of what people expect. And they're pretty much the same, right? The expectation of what makes a good narrative event, the spectrum's really wide.
Yeah.
It's quite wide open. Anything from it's a GT format of 5 missions and someone's telling us a story as what happens to we've got planets and we can invade. Like, it's a very wide spectrum.
Yeah.
And so expectation versus reality when you go to a competitive GT is often box ticked. Good.
Yeah.
We had decent terrain, and what I mean by decent terrain is it was line of sight blocking. It wasn't sparse and it wasn't overly populated. I've had 5 games. It's all been managed on BCP. Blah blah blah. The difference being in narrative events where there's a wide spectrum of expectation, expectation versus reality. For some people will be hit, and for some people won't.
Yeah.
And that's where I think narrative becomes incredibly more difficult as an event to run.
And I think a lot of people just give up because they're like, oh, some people came to my narrative event. They said it was too basic and boring, and they want more. And then there are narrative events that have gone out that are way too complicated. People are like, I'm not doing that again because it's
too complicated.
So much effort.
And following that sweet spot in narrative is really hard. And unfortunately, what you really want is a TO to run a narrative event to do another 5, 6, 7, and to kind of dial it in to that middle ground where you're going to... The people who want either end of the spectrum will still be happy.
Yeah,
I mean, they will enjoy it. But then what you do is you essentially you grab a wider audience at that point. But people will, when they get those criticisms in the first 1 or 2 they do, will go, we put a lot of effort in there.
Yeah.
They got criticised. I'm not going to do it again. And I get it.
It costs me money. I'm not going to do it again because they don't push through to the fact that after 5, 6 of them, they've made their money back. And then
I think you really have to love narrative to run a narrative event as well.
I really want to do...
Which is what Joe's here for,
I really want to run narrative events like downstairs. Obviously, we'll cater to a competitive crowd, but I really want to do narrative events where we allow legends in, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, I really like going to competitive tournaments, but I would happily go to like an actual narrative event if it was run the right way.
We want to not only produce them, but then dial them in and get them running well.
That'd be great.
Like we want to, I'm speaking for Liam here, you know. It's like we want to run events that people want to go to just have fun at.
Yeah, 100%.
Because when you go to a competitive event, there are people that want to go and have fun and have beers, and that's great. But then most of them drop out a lot of games because they're like, I've just had my absolute head kicked in.
I want to also run GTs that allow legends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because like you have like these, but you get people that goes tournaments that only want to win, lose the first game, leave. You know, where if we run events,
that's mad for me, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I went to the Nottingham GT a couple of years ago. It was a 120 people event. 110 people showed up. Game 2 dropped to 100 people. After game 3 dropped to 80.
Imagine spending money on a weekend ticket, hotel, etc., losing your first game and leaving.
That's mental, isn't it?
I can understand game 4 people dropping because you're like, I've got to leave early because
or
you're just tired or something.
Or it's like, I've lost 4 games, staying to lose a 5th game, maybe win it, not worth it.
I don't mind people dropping for like actual genuine reasons, but when you're like, oh, I can't win the entire tournament now, I guess I'll go home.
But like,
I've seen people as well who have not had a great first day, and then the second I always used to refuse to put pairings up on the Saturday night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if you put so in my experience running as a tournament, if you put pairings up on a Saturday night, you'd have more drops than if you put pairings up on the Sunday morning. So if you put pairings up on a Saturday night, some people who are doing okay would look at their pairing and be like, I'm going to lose, I just drop.
Yeah. I can see that happening.
So what I would do is I would always do the pairings on the Sunday morning, so check everyone in, everyone's here.
I think most UK tournaments seem to do it on the night before, but I think all the American ones just do it,
do it in the morning.
In the morning,
It's also, the other reason why I do it in the morning is if a person does drop naturally because they're unwell, if you come in the morning, we've got a person missing, drop then pair.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you pair, realise someone's not there, drop, and then you end up with a mismatch of players who are in different stages of their of win, lose, draw.
But like, if you're running an event where people like to win, but people don't care, obviously. They're like, I want to turn up with my guard artillery, you know, and I just want to roll dice and shoot stuff at range, and once people get into combat with me, I die, you know. Because that's how you want to play your army. Yeah, that's how I want to play my army.
That's your flavour.
That's my flavour. You know, they're just happy. You know, I'd be happy to go to
times.
I'd love to go to a narrative event with Seth, with his index rules.
Yeah,
just go and chop Seth up. I don't care what he does. Just choppy chop.
Zin, thank you for the $10. CSM has done well with detachments filling multiple flavours. You guys brought up Bile, but it also works fantastically as the Demon King, Galvorback, Warp Talon detachment, which everyone was as flexible. Agreed.
I actually think the CSM Codex might be the most flavourful one they've done in 10th.
Currently.
So far, yeah.
Currently.
We can. The one that we're allowed to talk about.
There's a couple coming, Tom, that are incredibly flavourful.
Does flavourful also mean broken?
No. We can't voice opinions. That's bad. It's bad. That's technically.
I don't have any opinions.
No, we're technically reviewing. We need to stop.
Tom's not on the NDA list yet. He just
I can say whatever I want.
Right. The Tyranid one's quite flavourful. I think the Tyranid one had great flavour. You had rules.
I think Space Marines is very flavourful. Yeah.
I do, but I feel like
there's an imbalance in strength.
I think that's more of an issue with that one.
The Space Marine one suffers from the fact that they have too much variety and there's less limitations because they're like, here's the Phobos army, you know, but we're also infiltrating Marnia's Calgar with 6 aggressors and a lieutenant.
This again, Joe. This is where we when I say we, I mean the collective we, including chat and the community in general. We often blur the lines between what's flavourful and what's good and bad. I think the Space Marine Codex is absolutely full of flavour, but there's a distinct difference in strength between Gladius and basically everything else.
But I do
so if we look at it from a rules and a strength perspective, everyone's running Gladius as a lack of flavour. But if you look at the flavour in the individual detachments and how they work, the flavour's very good.
I do think a badly made detachment can ruin the flavour of the detachment, though. So like the Imperial Fist detachment, whatever it's called, Anvil something. It's like it basically tells you to stand still as much as possible. Which feels like less fun to play.
Which is interesting because the original Guard Index rule said the same thing. They changed it because they recognise it's a really negative rule to have.
Which is like, it's not really how you enjoy the game, is it? Like movement phase, you want to run around doing shit.
Like,
Imperial Fist, like, I will stand here and never move again.
In a game that is designed about standing on objectives, they're like, stand in your deployment zone, don't hold objectives.
It's what we always always say that, like, movement wins the game. And I'm not saying you have to win the game to have fun, but I'm saying you probably want to actually play the game to have fun.
And it
basically tells you not to play the game.
And the fist attachment has a mad number of 2 CP strats that are pretty
It has
terrible.
like the most TCP strats in the
So
whole game.
what else have you got then as well? So Necron's flavorful?
I don't know enough about it. They seem to just bully me all the time.
Their
I'd
flavour,
say medium.
I love the fact that they essentially made a detachment around the monolith.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I think the problem.
I love a monolith.
The problem
They're so cool.
is how people view that army and its players.
They do have a cool...
personal prejudice does come in a bit when judging people.
Here's another reason why Tom can play World is because Lee's just agreed to play us a Necron army, so I get to play Necron soon. Not boring
the
any
new
Necrons.
detachment.
Not boring any Necrons either. Proper Necrons.
Like we had like
Destroyers for days.
Necrons have an image problem. You go to a table. I've got 4 Catan, and like,
Well, now it's triple Doomsday Arc Silent King.
Yeah.
So that won't be me.
Please don't.
I've asked him to paint a couple of monoliths because monoliths are cool.
Yeah,
Can we get him?
And I want the
Can
void.
you get
I want the
the-
void dragon because he's a cool
Oh,
model.
he's so cool. Don't do any of the other Catan, though.
Can seeing as someone else is doing it, can we have 30 flayed one?
What?
I will ask him. He's coming today.
You're going to have to give
If I'm
him
going to run, if I'm running Necrons, it has to
So-
auto straight include 30.
So Joe and
flayed ones.
Joe and I
straight
have
away.
discussed. I would really love to have people who are kind of specialists for factions.
Yeah.
So World Eaters.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Blood Angels?
Tyranids, Blood Angels,
Yeah.
whatever,
CSM.
Eldar, etc. But what I've also said is, for this year, I want to lift a little bit of the restriction. But like, if you want to have a go playing any army, play any army because it's fun.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
if you've got the option to, why the fuck not?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty...
Because the way that you'll play Ultramarines will be different to the way that I play Ultramarines, which will be different to the way that Bron plays Ultramarines, which will be different to the way that you play Ultramarines, ultimately, to be fair. And I think it's interesting to see different people taking on the same faction and how they then approach how they list build, how they play the game.
Yeah.
I think that is interesting.
Yeah, Joe run 18 Blade Guard.
In everything.
Yeah.
All the time.
Every army, every
But
time.
Joe, it's Tyranids, 18 Blade Guard.
Yeah. How?
We've got Tyrant Guard.
Yeah,
They're
we could
much
do the...
worse, but they are. But I
You do
do
the
have
new
Tyrant
warrior
Guard.
detachment to run all warriors?
I would love to do the warrior detachment.
Do you not have many warriors?
I don't have £300 to spend on warriors.
Isn't
Then
he-
make a subpar detachment.
It's going to be a struggle for him to persuade me to spend £300 on warriors.
Yeah, I think
it
that's
doesn't take a lot
a
to persuade me to buy
stretch.
many things.
Yeah.
He said to me on Tuesday, "I want 6 Bullgrin," and they turned up at his house today.
Cool.
So it doesn't take a lot to persuade me.
But when
if
I-
it was £300 on warriors, it might be quite a
The
lot.
problem is, like, because I've got 9, 3 sets of 3 warriors. So I've got 9 warriors.
Yeah.
Right. I'd still need to get 9 more to fill out the shooting one. Well, 9 more, so 3 more boxes, and then I'd have to get 18 more. So basically, I'm like, I've got just to fill the basic requirements. But that's 1,000 points of 2,000 points.
Yeah.
So you'd have to take everything and double it to make the
Yeah, that's true.
2,000 points of the warrior list. But that warrior list only, but that many warriors, I'd have 36 warriors just sat redundant if I
If you
never
do anything
play that
else.
if they get rid of that detachment.
Yeah, I feel like they really wrote that detachment just be like, there's those 5 people that just love
Yeah.
warriors
Oh, yeah,
more
by
than
the way.
everything else in the world.
By the way, 3 warriors are 40 quid now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elect man, thank you for the $10. I need to ask, since I bounced off 9th, is there correlation between flavour, complexity, and power? 9th was complex and powerful. 10th changed the power level and reduced the buff combo complexity. I don't think there needs to be a correlation between complexity and narrative, or complexity and flavour. I don't think that needs to be
I
a
don't
thing.
think so.
I don't also think it needs to be a thing. The thing is, right, I also don't think it needs to be a thing to have a correlation between power and flavour. Unfortunately, what we find in 40k is if a thing is flavourful but not powerful, people won't take it.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you don't see it so frequently.
Yeah, so prime example, right? The Night Lord's detachment, right, is incredibly flavourful,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Because it's based around the concept that Night Lords are the terror troops of chaos. They turn up and they scare everyone and they do
They
really
jump scare everyone.
messed up
Yeah.
shit, right? But the problem is that flavour is then put into battle shock.
Yeah, because the only way they've ever been able to do it with Night Lords is like, we're going to make you do leadership tests,
Yeah.
and it's going to have minimal impact on the game.
Yeah, it's going to have little to no impact on the game, and the only units that really benefit from it are a bunch of assault troops that have got toughness 4, 2 wounds, 3 up save, and damage 1 combat attack.
On the flip side, again, on the flip side, I think the modern day version of what's the one that the Tyranids have? Shadow of the Warp.
Yeah.
Where once per battle in the command phase, everyone takes a battle shock test at -2 normally.
Yeah.
It's quite simple, but very flavourful.
It's very flavourful.
So I don't think it needs to be... What I'm saying is I don't think there needs to be a correlation between complexity and flavour. I think sometimes people would think you need this complex thing in place to make it feel really flavourful. I don't think you do.
I think if they want to make Shadow and a Warp effective, they replace it with... They get rid of the whole, once per game, you force everyone to take a battle shock test, and if you're within 6 inches of a Tyranid unit, you're -1 leadership. They just go, if you're in Synapse range, you are -1 leadership.
I think, just in range of Tyranids would be fine, to be honest. Like, it's still only -1 battle shock test. It's not going to break the game.
Probably. I think if you're within range of a Synapse creature is better, because if you're like -1 leadership and you stood next to one Termagant, you're just kick it and it falls over. You're like, well, I'm so scared of it.
So I don't think there needs to be that correlation, is what I'm saying, like, man. I appreciate the question, though. I think a lot of people do link it.
I feel like maybe AdMech need it.
Yeah.
But
just because that's what AdMech players love.
We live in a competitive age now, right?
It is.
And people want.
Do you reckon this is the most competitive edition, or do you think that's just what people have framed it as?
No, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think actually, from a balance perspective, at least at the moment, I would say that on the whole, and there is still imbalances that exist and units that are bad and units that are good, but on the whole, I think the game is in a very good place from a balance perspective. Now, I am conscious that people in chat will do the usual rhetoric that exists. Let's re-rolls. Simplified, not simple. Like, we're 2 years into this now, near enough.
We've got to give it
I'm
up.
over that point. Yeah. I've accepted that that's not the case and that the marketing team sold a very different product to what actually got released.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't get given the rules before they did the marketing.
One thing I will say, Joe and I have both sat on meetings since the launch of 10th edition. We've both sat on Zoom calls or Google Meet calls with people that are high up within Games Workshop, and they did hold their hands up within the first 6 months and said, we fucked this up. They did they not, on calls? And they've worked incredibly hard after fucking it up to bring it back. And a lot of people will say, and rightly so, shouldn't have fucked it up in the first place. And I agree with that.
Yeah, that's true.
But they did at least, GW didn't go, fucking ostrich, head in sand, everything's fine.
Yeah.
They went, we fucked this up, how can we fix it? The problem does mean that we've had so many changes in the first 6 months that people have said, I can't keep up, I'm quitting. But at the same time, if they hadn't have made those changes, they'd have been criticised for leaving the game in a busted state. They were in a no-win situation.
Yeah, for sure.
The win is release a good game in the first instance, right? That's how they solve that problem.
Oh, yeah,
but
which is impossible.
But they have tried to fix it, and I think they have predominantly fixed it. I think they've got it in a state now where there's loads of rerolls that we were told that wouldn't happen. Yeah, there is a significant amount of powerful units when we told that power had been removed from the game and things were less killing. That's not the truth. If we remove if the marketing team hadn't have said all that shit before the launch of 11th edition, I think a lot less people will be going, I think simplified more, not simple. All that.
Yeah, I think I don't know about you, but I think this is the best spot the game's ever been in while I've been playing it. I don't know how you guys feel.
Now I've taken a step back and stopped my personal mission to hate on it just because it wasn't what we were promised.
Yeah.
And I thought the end of Ninth was in a very good place and I was enjoying myself. Now I've taken the step back and tried to look at it objectively rather than subjectively. I think the game's in a fucking incredible place right now. Because
especially like if you just look at people that are winning stuff, it's like a different army every time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like Necrons. It's like every time it's different.
I think we're getting to a period of time now, because obviously there was competitive in 7th and back. 8th edition is when we kind of discovered that competitive play could be done better and more fun.
Yeah.
And that's when we started the journey of establishing how competitive play should be. And we're now at a period of time where we're getting to a point where we're always getting to a situation where we've got people who you could probably call like the equivalent of like chess masters or whatever they're called, because
grandmasters,
like grandmasters of the game
in Nemesis Dreadnought Armour.
In Nemesis, yeah, because like
the baby carrier.
Right, so if you look at the army, we look at the armies that were winning the game in 8th edition. Oh, what have you got? Oh, I've got 6 Storm Ravens stood next to Gillingham, right, kind of
Gillingham.
Gillingham, you know, like, or what you got? Oh, I've got 9 Eldar planes and a unit of 3 bikes.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't play during that time.
Throughout,
I mean, it was fun as well.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Throughout 8th and 9th edition, it was I've got 3 units of the most powerful units in the game. Don't judge me. Right? I've got the 3 most powerful broken units in the game. My opponent can't really
God,
interact
see
with
why
them.
Joe likes it.
And
now.
I just and you just destroy your opponent, right? And people are like, oh, you like.
Is this why Joe gets upset with me when my units don't die when he touches them?
Like
Is this why?
Yeah, because like when like there was like Votan, and people when Votan came,
God, do you remember that?
I won a tournament. What are you playing, Votan? I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You won because you were playing.
That was
Votan.
insane, wasn't it? Do you remember when they like had to nerf the army before it was even released
Yeah.
in the box?
But we're now,
Because we kicked off.
Yeah.
Well, we kicked off. We weren't the only creators to kick off.
yeah, right. But we're now at a stage where we've had people winning tournaments. Like someone goes, like, oh, someone won a tournament. Well, they're running custodes with sisters and custodes. You look at it, it's like, but that's just a normal list.
Yeah,
of
like you look at who won the world championships. No one would have ever put money on that.
So this is where I think the game's in a good place.
Yeah.
If you can take a tournament winning list like the World Championships or LGT, we rip you for it, but I'll be serious for a moment.
Yeah.
You take that list, you put that in the hands of anybody else, and it doesn't just win a game.
Yeah.
Game's in a good place.
That's why
because
it's
that
good.
players had to practice and play. And
What's it? Skill expression. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
one.
like that Chaos
It's a good
Space
place for
Marine
that.
army that the guy won LGT with. I looked at it and I was like, how?
Yeah.
And the guy who's the Custodes guy, he's just won a tournament with the new Dreadnought detachment, which I also think fucking hell, how's he managed that?
So we're at a position now where we've got full savants of the game that like.
And it also means you can play the army you want to play and still do all right in a tournament with it. So you get your flavour from it, you get your competitive side from it, and you can combine them.
I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you anyway, Electman, for the $10. I don't know if we've completely answered that question.
I forgot
by the
what
way,
the question was.
Chat, if you put a question in chat, I will try and keep these two on topic, myself included. Actually, I'll try and keep the three of us on topic. But you are almost definitely going to inspire some kind of conversational arc, and it might just fuck off in a random direction. That's the beauty of the show. We have got loads more questions to get through. We are going to get through all of them. You're amazing. What we could do with, however, is a few more of those things that Joe loves. Massive members.
Members in his face.
We're on 19 members. I'd love to get halfway to 50. There's 31. There is 260 people watching.
Random, completely off topic. Right, it just popped into my head.
Oh God.
He's not even asked the question yet.
Talking
It's
about
off
things I
topic.
like. McDonald's now do.
Oh, fuck's sake.
They now do a katsu curry wrap.
Oh, I like katsu curry.
I like katsu curry.
I didn't tell my partner, but I had one the other day because it was one of those ones where I bought it when
She's not watching it. She's playing that game you bought her.
Yeah. So I bought. It was so good. It was really. It was one of those times where I bought something from McDonald's and I was like, God damn.
I sit down at Wagamama's and then the lady comes over. I'm like, katsu chicken curry, and he's like, do you want to try it? Katsu chicken curry.
No, I am
Doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I am a 16-year-old girl on a girl's party.
Yeah.
I'm having my katsu curry.
We should do that. We should do the autism bingo card.
Yeah.
Tick.
Oh, the Thanes do bingo. They can do that.
Yeah. I always get those little prawn things that have the weird flakes that like move in the heat. Just because I like it.
What?
The prawns. They have like the prawns and then they put like
You fucking prawn.
flakes on it and it kind of moves because of the heat. I don't know. I don't get it.
I've no
It's
idea,
weird
mate.
food science. I don't understand it. I don't know
Magic.
but it's delicious.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Tempura.
Right, okay.
I don't know.
Ben, thank you for the $9 New Zealand dollars, you legend. It's 10th of Jan here now. It's no longer early Jan. Where are the Grotman detachments in the app? But we've told you they're
Apparently they're in the app.
I
Did they
think
actually do an article? Because I've completely
I didn't know.
missed
There was
that.
no article. So I was going to say this is a response to something else that we were talking about earlier. Games Workshop. It was saying that the social media team said all this stuff about 10th edition or 11th edition. It never happened. It was all lies or there's too much miscommunication between the departments and Warcom.
Yeah, well, so we've had Peachy in here for chats often. A lot of this is on camera. And when you get a peek behind the scenes of how it works up at Warhammer Worlds, up in Nottingham, you realise that it operates in what is an incredibly siloed way. It's not uncommon, unfortunately, for big business, I've worked in many, to operate in very siloed ways. And for different departments to have their own budget and their own this, their own that, and they work against each other rather than in unison. For me, the launch of 10th edition was very much that.
Yeah.
They were all not talking to each other. And they do this very often. And Peachy's told us how they've been told to paint 100 orcs, and then the White Dwarf team have turned up and been like, we're not doing orcs, we're doing a different army.
Yeah.
Great. So glad we painted 100 models.
Yeah.
So that happened years ago when he was involved. It's still happening now. The marketing team was not given what 10th edition actually was.
Yeah.
And so that was a failing. I would like to think a business of that size and the fucking backlash that happened and the fact that meme is still going.
Yeah.
Yes, the three of us are now bored of the meme and we don't use it anymore, but the fact that meme is still going, I'd like to think they've gone, we need to not do that again.
Yeah.
That needs to be something we avoid.
I'd love to see it this year if they just were a lot more open in communication.
If you look at the launch of AOS, where they actually interviewed the rules writing team that we've met, and they interviewed Matt, who heads up the rules team, and they interviewed John and all those people, and they had actual quotes from the rules team in the articles, and then AOS was delivered and was basically what everybody expected.
Yeah.
And it's just a good rule set.
It is a good rule
set. They haven't really had to change it much, as far as I know.
But
so I'd like to think they've learned from that.
yeah, I hope so, because like you get these situations that come out where it's like, well, Warcom said this, and that's just not what I'm
not
getting.
true, is it?
Yeah, I think there needs to be a better presentation from them.
Yeah, I
on
think
stuff
so.
coming out. So like we had the app. The app was updated yesterday.
But you also have to
one was
remember,
told.
the thing is, Joe, right, you have to remember as well, and I say this, I don't like this, but I say this from a business perspective, Warcom is not a person-friendly tool. It's not the community reviewing things. Warcom is a marketing tool.
Yeah.
We have to realise Warcom is not the truth. Yeah. Warcom is Games Workshop marketing.
Yeah, but
it's
so they want to sell the product.
The articles are essentially
but at the same time,
they're all adverts, 100%.
But at the same time, you advertise Warhammer Plus and your app by putting a post out saying, we've updated the app to have all the Grotmus detachments on it. Go and look at them now.
That
Go
is
and
weird
subscribe.
that they haven't done that. I'd have thought they
Yeah.
made a big thing about it.
Yeah.
It's been very popular.
You now have access to the thing that we gave you.
I think we need to be aware of the fact that Warcom. I think people need to be more accepting of the fact that Warcom is marketing material.
Yeah, but it's like,
and so it's full of gumph bollocks words where someone's basically typed something out and chucked it through AI or fucking synonyms.
GPT,
And gone, make this sound more fancy. I sit there reading articles sometimes like, what cunt
It's
wrote
literally
this?
like, how many 4-syllable words can I put in this
Who
article?
wrote this fucking nonsense just so that you get baffled and bamboozled by 5 sentences of saying literally nothing?
Because like, I mean, most people just skip that, click on the article, click on the download, done.
Yeah. So,
and there's time.
But you are right. I think especially with Grotmus specifically, and the amount of comments on social media that have said, when is Grotmus being in the app? And then Warcom answered a question yesterday or the day before on Facebook. Someone I saw it yesterday, it might have been the day before, so I saw it yesterday, and it got updated yesterday. And someone said, when are Grotmus attachments coming out on the app? And the reply was, they'll be coming sometime later this month. And what they meant was, tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's fucking right tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's amazing because like Grotmus is one of the most positive things they've done in 10th edition, I would say. But why would you not capitalise on that and just tell people that it's all
Celebrate your
out now?
successes.
Like, you've done a fucking great job.
Celebrate your successes,
Just tell people what's
100%.
on the app and when it's happening.
Right, Whitey55, we still got no more members, by the way, chat. What's going on? What does Joe need to do for more members?
Is Joe the
There's
problem?
a new Horus Heresy model. Thank you, mate.
Thank you,
Joe's
Whitey55
gone.
for the $2. Psychics and priests need to return in a joint phase. I don't even think they need their own phase. I'm with Joe. I just put it in the command phase.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Priests and psychics in the command phase, pre-movement phase.
Is AOS all like command phase? Like,
hero phase, but yes.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And they are psychic
I think that'd be fine.
abilities.
Because like you already have, because I find with a lot of armies you literally do nothing in the command phase except battle shock, secondaries, primary.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that I don't know exactly how it would work for Tal because I don't know the narrative very well, but I think for things like World Eaters, you have a priest instead of a
You'd have
psyker.
like you could probably take an enhancement or something that would like be anti-psyker.
Yeah,
to stop
but
it.
even then, you have a priest, so you can still chant and slaughter and kill.
Yeah, you can still praise.
How
Khorne.
cool would a mechanic be with a priest where you get D6 priest points, but if you're stood next to some jackals and you murder one, you get an extra.
I'd be down for
stuff
that.
like that.
Here's
Literally sacrificing a guy.
A somewhat mid standard bear.
He's painted in my
You
favourite
do
heresy.
like a standard bearer.
I do
though.
like him. He's cool.
He's painted in my favourite heresy
Got a
scheme.
cool
I want to learn
bionic
to
leg.
paint. No, I don't like the leg. Looks shit to me.
Is it a
Have you noticed
fister?
that what I find really weird, right, is that the Imperium really overcomplicates prosthetics.
That is a thick leg, isn't it?
If you do hold Joe's phone for any length of time, just don't get your hands checked by a black light.
Yes, I would avoid the Instagram that he has.
The like his leg has got all the servos and exposed
It looks like a
cables
dreadnought
and
leg.
stuff.
I
Yeah,
don't like it.
It's like
I think it looks shit. The banner part's quite cool. I think the rest of it looks a bit shit.
banners. The problem is a lot of the non-chapter specific characters are a bit too plain. You know, they're a bit underwhelming. But I think that's the nature of Horus Heresy, is a sense of like, we give you a plain base and then you jazz it up.
I think that is what they want. Yeah.
Whereas we're kind of spoiled in 40k because they just do all the work for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Thank you, Sim Red, for the 5. I'd argue current Psychic, no granular points, and mortal wounds especially have all taken a lot of flavour away from the game, edging closer to chess. I would, for those specific points, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I have no arguments with you there. For those specific points, current Psychic, no granular points, and mortal wounds, I would agree that has removed flavour.
Yeah.
I'm personally not that bothered about granular points. I would just like to be able to choose how many guys are in a squad, and I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Mortal wounds is one of those things where, when I saw devastating wounds as a concept, rather than just it ignores invulnerable saves, I was really positive. So on a roll of a 6, it ignores invulnerable saves. The problem with mortal wounds is there's far too many of them, and they're all over the place. They're
Yeah,
everywhere.
like as soon as someone has a way of shoving mortal wounds at you, it's just good.
And they're really disjointed in terms of, like, they limit all ranged mortal wounds to like 6. You know,
Or like grenades.
like grenades, or like if you're like you've got a guy, 10 guys that puts out 40 shit shots, but the
40 shit shots.
40 shit shots, right?
Yeah,
40
you
shit
talking about
shots.
Sternguard?
Yeah, like, so, but like to a maximum of 6, like they did with like the Chaos Stratagem.
Dreadnoughty, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships! I'm excited because it's gifted members, Joe.
Yeah, thank you, Dreadnoughty. I hope that that
He doesn't look that excited.
they release a new Dreadnought model this month.
This month.
Yeah.
This month,
I'm a fan. Who's
don't-
it for? Guard or Eldar?
And I don't know,
probably Eldar.
Necromunda.
What's the
Do
third one?
Eldar have like a dreadnought kind of thing?
They have
Is it Wraith Knight, basically?
Wraith Lords
Wraith Lord.
that used to be called Elder Dreadnoughts
Oh, really?
in like 3rd edition.
Because it's kind of a similar concept, isn't it? Where you're a dead guy.
What's the other
goes in
army
a
coming
thing.
out first quarter?
Knights. They're
They
big.
kind of Dreadnought?
They've not
Yeah.
announced anything for Knights.
No, they haven't, have they?
We haven't seen anything, by the way. Like we've not got any rules, not seen
What,
anything.
do you think they'd actually get new stuff for Knights?
I hope they take away.
Yeah.
What?
Sick of war dogs. I really like Lee up until he told me that his beachhead list is 12 war dogs or whatever.
11.
But Joe,
11.
if you want to win, you have to.
He's got 11
yeah.
war dogs and a bunch of demons.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
hate.
very
I mean,
strong.
the demons is like kind of not
Yeah.
even the meta where you just get 13 war dogs from what I usually see.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, I hate that. I hate it. It just really.
I agree with you
me.
in principle, but I also think they have been forced into it by GW, making the rules for Big Night shit.
Yeah.
That's how excited I'll be, chat. If anyone else gives 5 more memberships.
Yeah.
Fully erect.
Fully erect. Thank you for that. We're now on 24.
24.
Oh dear. It must be, since you came back, we were all right on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Ben, thank you for the 350. First, I didn't check. It's the day they load them. Yeah, I know, mate. Sod's Law, it's always the way it is. But yeah, they went on yesterday at some point. It was in Thanes. Just saying, if you're in Thanes, you find out. Celtic Favour, thank you for the 10. I think normal units have more flavour, but characters have less. Since 80% of them now are war grade updates for normal units nowadays, while this model is leading a unit. I'm actually inclined to agree with that.
While this model is leading a unit, triggers me so much when my unit just died and my character's like, oh, I forgot how to do the thing I do.
Yeah.
Not happy with that.
While this model is leading a unit, should just be removed
Get rid
from
of it.
every single
Just this
ability.
unit gets this job
Yeah.
done.
In every single aspect of this particular thing, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harbon, Vortex Gate, taking a
Oh.
5, give the membership.
Thank you.
Carrying.
I hope that I
just want Leo to yell more.
I hope that your local garage
Oh.
does a 50% sale on all items in the shop and gives you 20% off all fuel.
Oh wow, that's quite a wish.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you for the 5 gifted. I will shout more. I tried this whole new thing, don't talk about members at all, and it'll just come. It doesn't, so I tried it. Yeah, I think Ben's right there. I think, a lot of characters do just feel like war gear upgrades now for a unit. There are some exceptions, typically the big named characters, like Helbrecht on Tuesday, who fucking claps.
Well, that's a weird distribution of some characters you feel like should be really good are a bit meh.
Yeah.
And then there's some random characters that come out of nowhere which are just
like Ventress.
Bonkers. Yeah.
Like Ventress has every rule you'd ever want for this random Ultramarine that is cool, but he's not like, chapter.
But these aren't done on purpose. This is where the chess masters that we speak of,
they'd be like,
So what we live in a weird place, right, with 40k, where I would argue, and I think this is probably quite a fair assessment, that some of the more competitive players out there are better at the game than the people that are writing the rules in the first instance.
Yeah, definitely.
So the people that write the rules, I can say this without any fear or doubt, fucking love Warhammer and want to create a fun and cool rule set.
Yeah.
The problem they have is they create these rule sets that in their mind, in their little bubble, their little protected bubble that they make over in Warhammer World, play really cool, look really fun, etc., etc. And then they release it to the very competitive people who go, well, that's mental.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take that. And then Games Workshop go,
I'll do like a 40-minute video like, this is broken and here's why.
We don't have much conversations with the rules writing team.
Not anymore, we don't know.
Not anymore, but when we were, I always got the opinion we write the rules based on the narrative of how this unit functions, and then they're like, I'm gonna get a game in this afternoon with Jeff, have a quick 1,500 point game, I was like, yeah, but the people that are really stress testing your game and playing in tournaments aren't playing 1,500 points with a unit of Terminators and a Rhino and a Predator and a Vindicator and 2 units of Scouts and a heavy weapon team, they're not playing one of everything. They're playing 3 of the best units at 2,000 points to the bleeding edge of measurements.
100%.
If you're writing rules for a game, you have to be playing it and thinking about it like every single person that picks up that Codex is going to try and break it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then the playtesters don't necessarily seem to help this either, especially if they've got favourite factions.
Yeah, and if the playtesters think that we're playing,
it's funny how Necrons win a lot.
Yeah, if the playtesters think that we're playing in a specific way and have an idea of how they want us to play, right? Make the rules so we have to play in that specific way.
Yeah. So you'd rather go back to the unassailable Death Stars in Ninth? Ninth didn't have unassailable Death Stars to start with. That was 7th. Because Ninth didn't have any Death Stars because characters didn't join units. Ninth had auras, which were less good because you did all these stupid castles. But remembering also that characters don't join units in AOS. And they've managed to make it work.
I do quite like characters joining units, but I don't think it should be the only option to run a character.
Yeah, I think they should be able to leave units and still be good on their own. Like a chaplain doesn't get +1 to wound, anymore when he leaves a unit. He used to have re-roll all hits. He used to have hatred. The unit he joins got to re-roll all the hits. That's obviously gone because we've got Oath now. So when he's in the unit, he gets +1 to wound. But then he wanders off. He's like, I'm sad now.
Here's what I want, right? Here's how I would do it. This is probably going to be able to be broken because I'm not a rules writer or a super competitive player. But for me, the way that I would like it to work is you remove the while leading a unit part, you swap it with, you can either choose this unit or another unit within 6 inches, right? So your chaplain can give his unit whatever his rule is. Or he can pick another unit within 6 inches and say, you get reroll hits. You don't both get it.
What I found...
But it gives you not quite an aura. It gives you a bit of versatility. It means when your chaplain's unit dies, he still gets it if he wants it, but he can also give it to another unit.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think auras were kind of broken in 9th edition.
Auras are mental.
That's just
in
silly.
Grotmus, a lot of enhancements became auras.
Auras are coming back.
Some have come back, like the blood one where everyone gets Lance within 6. The Slanesh got a bunch of stuff. I think Necron's got some dumb ones, I think.
Martin, thank you for the 10. I want a rule system based on enabling fun games with fun actions that don't focus on comp play, not to focus on comp balance. I want a fun couple of games with my toys at an event and get a cocktail. Oh, I love a cocktail right now.
Yeah, now at the moment, if you want that, it's very much down to the TO.
This is where we talked before about wanting essentially something like Maelstrom coming back. Fun rules, super chill, less competitive, hard to build for it. You just play. You
I feel like they could do it as well, realistically.
We've done it.
They've done the Maelstrom thing was cool.
We did Maelstrom in early 10th edition. We just played the old Maelstrom cards and swapped
Ninth
the
did
out.
something, didn't they? That was like cards
Also,
as well.
Yeah. I feel like players now, don't take this personally, players are more blinkered on, or more short-sighted in terms of like how to be inventive in playing the game. We're narrow-minded. Like before, back in the day, before television,
In the war.
and the gangsters and the raps, before Pop-Tarts, but in days people used to be like, well, Terry's coming over with his guard, I'm going to play my Tyranids and we're going to play Starship Troopers, I'm going to run at him, People didn't need to get told how to play the game. Whereas now we live in an age where I can't play the game unless I'm told by Games Workshop how to play it.
Yeah, I know.
I get that.
I get it.
And someone said, like, why don't you run Seth's index rules, right? And I could.
Yeah.
On the channel, we've said that we'd play it.
Yep, I'll let index happen.
It's a faff.
It is a faff.
Because Legends aren't on
what
the
I
app,
need to do, I'll tell you what I need to do, is buy a wireless printer.
Yeah.
Because then we just print the data sheet off.
Yeah. So I could run Seth on the channel. I could run it at events, but Games Workshop haven't given me an easy way to do it. Therefore, I can't.
If I bought a wireless printer for in here that we could print off data sheets from Legends, would you use them more?
Probably.
Or is that just it's a nice idea, but I probably wouldn't still?
I probably would.
Yeah.
For the channel, but also like we're in a weird situation as content creators because people go, Liam's playing Eldar today. If you run Legends units, that person then can't copy your list and take it to a tournament. He's running the improper way to do it, so therefore, what he's doing on the internet isn't worth my time.
Do you think people are like copying your list to go to tournaments with them?
No one's copying my list. God, no.
With all due respect.
No one's copying our list.
I imagine they are definitely copying Art of War's list.
Yeah, if someone...
excuse me, everyone wants double redeemers.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong. If you want to have to be fair, if you want to have a fun time, copy Joe's list for Beachhead.
Yeah. My Beachhead list is stupid as. It's just
how many Sandguard is it?
18.
Yeah.
Mine, thank you for 5 more. Don't blow a narrative whistle on a competitive exploit at a competitive event. Blow the competitive balance whistle if appropriate.
Who's blowing what?
I get it.
Yeah. We're never gonna.
So what he's saying is,
too many words for my smooth brain.
What he's saying is, if people do competitive things at a competitive event, you can't go, that's not narrative.
Yeah, that's very true actually. Because I get why people were annoyed about the whole librarian thing, but it was at a competitive tournament.
But the problem is, right? Because we're never gonna be happy, right?
No,
you are never gonna be happy. I'm very happy right now.
We will always find things to complain about. This is the trait
Joe
I have.
more than others.
Yes. Right, and I will find things to be annoyed about because if I'm not annoyed about something,
you could win a game
about
100-1, and you'd be like, "Oh, I can't believe they got that 1 point."
We still need to go and buy steak yet, by the way.
I know.
I've not got through
right.
this yet.
And we're never going to be happy, right? But there's times that niggle me, right? When you go to a tournament and someone's running a narrative army and it's just dominating.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, I have to run a non-narrative version of my army to do okay, Like, you look at the Sisters armies, like, Sisters came out, and, like, there was no non-narrative versions of those armies running around. It was a bit of Repentia, a bit of anti-tank, there's Battle Sisters running around. It's all really cool shit, doing cool things. And then you're like, oh, what have you got? Like, you've got, like, an army that's just a random smattering of random units and characters that don't make sense. So you're like, but I want to run my army how it should run, And
then narrative, and then Sisters players got a nerf bat in the balanced data state, and they all complain like shit about it. I'm like, they're still good.
Like,
still all right.
Ultramarines now is like every name character.
Yeah, that's kind of mental, isn't it? If you love Ultramarines, this is a golden time for you. You can play every single name character that you have and have an incredible list.
Yeah.
Chat, we're on 30 members. Making me sad
Maybe
right
that's
now.
Sadly,
that's what the other chapters need. You know,
What incredible characters.
well, not just incredible, maybe more characters, right? So like
They definitely need more characters.
Raven Guard, Imperial Fists, Iron Hands.
Because at the moment they
Give
get
them
their
a
like
few more
token
core
one
characters.
guy.
I would like every chapter and Legion, for that matter, to have a bespoke infantry kit,
Yeah.
perhaps with rules that go alongside. Think Night Lords. A bespoke elite kit,
Yeah.
perhaps rules to go alongside, and then at least 3 characters.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
I would say 2 characters
Alright,
might
2
be
characters
alright.
is
I
fine.
think if you
2
had
main
like
characters.
a chapter master equivalent and then 1 super cool guy as well,
Yeah, I'm fine.
I
with
think
that.
that'd be reasonable.
It gives people enough flavour that you can go, well, my standard infantry choice is these
'Cause
new
I think, yeah.
stalwart intercessors because it's Imperial Fists, and I've taken 3 units of them because they're fucking cool.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like
Right.
if there was like an awesome Iron Warriors Breacher Shield kit or something,
Yeah,
I'd be
exactly.
very interested.
For
in
an
that.
elite unit, 100%.
Yeah.
Ninja Lee, thank you for the 5. What annoys me with Games Workshop is they're removing Forge World, but just released a detachment for Custodians that is based on the Forge World models. So the thing is
That
with
was
Custodians,
the most rogue pick I've seen for a Grotmus attachment.
the thing is with Custodians is much like Knights to a point, although it's different now because it's plastic, but it's still Forge World. I don't think their Forge World is at risk because they have such a narrow like
Yeah,
selection
if you take
from the plastic kits.
Forge World away, they have like 4 or 5 kits basically.
Yeah.
So Forge World on the whole is being removed, yes, but Custodians is probably safe for a while. Wouldn't be massively surprised in the future to see those kits translate over to plastic.
God, I wish.
I think when you look at Forge World, if the moment that resin kit becomes plastic, 40k don't get it no more. I think that's the way I've kind of seen it in the
Yeah,
past.
but Knight Lancers.
Yeah, Knights is pretty
Yeah,
good,
but
aren't
they're
they?
100 quid. Games Workshop likes money.
Yeah, well, how much do you think the Custodians Dreadnoughts will be?
Yeah,
£100.
They're
I
not
don't
gonna
know.
be cheap, are
That'd
they?
be like 40, 50 quid.
Well, they'll be the same cost as a Redemptor probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
50 quid-ish.
Arkidor, thank you for the 5. Tom, firing the machine gun itself is the fun part. The kill is extra.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sounds fun.
That was in relation to something you said about firing machine guns.
There was something about hunting
Yes.
Yeah,
and then
you
a
missed
machine
Hardborn's
gun.
one.
You've remembered, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Hardborn's what?
Super chat.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah, I did actually, yeah. That's why we do the little tracky thing,
Oh,
isn't it?
Joe's on it.
Thank you for the 5. It's because I had to keep going down and pressing gifts because we're still only on 30 members and I have to come back up and find where we're at again, but they're fucking ignoring me. Thank you, Hardborn, for the 5 Canadian dollars, which is about 60p. For codexes, GW rebates retailers for a number of copies they carry at edition change, but not all. As a retailer, I want print ones gone too. The problem is, I think I like print codexes far too much, so I'm part of the problem here, because I love a print codex.
Would it be better if they made all codexes direct order only?
So I think there's 2 major solutions, right? The first major solution is that you remove all points values from books, a la AOS. Everything goes digital for points.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
First solution. Second solution is don't fuck it up before you print it.
Yeah.
But I feel like they should make codexes like a collectible thing and not the actual rules
But I
and
still
points.
maintain, don't fuck it up before you print it,
Yeah.
and then you don't end up in the AdMech situation with the
Oh,
book
yeah,
is basically
definitely.
pointless.
Obviously,
I think-
that's the dream scenario,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's possible
I think
anymore.
I think the current easy fix for Games Workshop is no points in the book. You sell the codex through the app as well, and you make all codexes direct order only. So if you want the codex, Games Workshop doesn't have to worry about
They
distribution
should
to other
they
places.
should 100% sell
That's
like
never going to happen. Because of the way that they'll make margin on codexes is because they bulk order print from China.
Yeah.
And the only way you make margin on those is by bulk order printing. So if you make to order, what you're suggesting is at one point you
Oh no,
can
no,
order
not make to order, but like direct order only. So you can only buy direct from Games Workshop. So retailers like Harborn, like Element, haven't got a bunch of books that they've bought sat around.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how much independent retailers make off of books. Because they might be like, no, we actually make margin on these. It'd be
Not
interesting to
much.
know.
I think they should just have like make the codexes into pure like lore, characters, story stuff, and then just have all the rules online. Which I know they won't do because money, but
Whiptail, thank you for the 10. You guys should have a look at the narrative kill team missions. They're quite a good flow chart of which mission to play next, depending on who wins. Could be adapted for a fun 40k event. We absolutely will. I think Joel will love that, actually.
Yeah.
I did one of the White Dwarf missions like a couple of months ago. They're actually
Yeah.
quite fun. Like genuinely are.
I'm into it. I'm happy for it. I'm not I'm not against that as a concept.
I
I
imagine
think
the Crusade books have probably got some good fun missions.
Yeah, probably.
the thing is, it's difficult, I think, for an event because you can't really go. Everyone's going to do this mission next. Based. Well, I mean, yes, you could.
Well, I really liked the idea that you set up. Say it's a 30-man event, right? So that's 15 tables. Every table is set up differently based on a specific mission,
Yeah.
right? And then when you play on that table, you play that mission. So every table you play on is different. You just make sure people don't play on the same tables, and then you do it based on the factions and stuff. But then you have like side missions going on that are like you've got 30 people playing normal 2,000 point games. You might have 10 people playing kill team, and that affects the overall score for your faction and stuff.
That would be cool.
Okay. Cy SJ. Hey, Cy, how's it going, dude? Treat myself to a Great Hall jersey. Buzz to wear it at Beachhead. Look out for the short ref of the Great Hall jersey for biased rulings. So there you go, team. Exclamation mark Raven. Is that right? Exclamation mark Raven. Everyone gets a jersey that's the same as what Cy's wearing, and then he'll know to give
Is
you
he a
favourable.
ref?
Yes.
Oh, we've got a ref.
We've got a ref.
Yeah.
Joey's like,
You'll get favourable rulings if you, but
Yeah.
only if you're wearing the same jersey.
you have to wear the jersey.
Yeah. Also, Dalfrith and Tyler, thank you for the one gifted each. You fucking legends.
We need to start doing our t-shirts in those big kind of like the hockey jerseys. You know,
We make sports jerseys, Joe.
I know, but like I want the big because they're real
do you
good
mean?
for fatties like me.
Can't you just get a bigger size?
These jerseys are made for esports gamers. They're not the slenderest of individuals in the world.
Yeah, not actual sports people.
No.
Esports is the key.
Yeah. I know some channels do their t-shirts made for they're all slim fit, and it's like
I've not seen a channel that would fit.
I
that.
liked to slim fit in around August, September time last year.
Yeah.
I'm less of a fan right now.
yeah, slim
Yeah.
fit is not great after a heavy meal. You know?
Well, again, I was right with it towards the end of last year, and then I had COVID, flu, and then 2 months of no gym, and now not so good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Si, anyway, for buying a jersey, you absolute hero. Grim Guardsman, thank you for the 5. Hey, Liam, when can we expect you to the British Armed Forces tournament? There's alcohol and a bunch of knobheads rolling dice. It's great. It sounds like my fucking day. When is it? I'm into it. Send me details. Email me details. You can find the email on the channel homepage. If you go to the About section, email address, and click a little button so it stops bots, you can find my email. Send me an email, dude. Tank Daniel, thank you for the 5. Do you think that Deathwing Terminator should be battle line and inner circle detachment, and would this make Dark Angel players switch from Gladius? I think I would like to see more instances of Unit A becomes battle line if this.
Yeah.
Battle line Deathwing Terminators is giving me PTSD though.
But you're not going to see 6 units because they're 250 points a unit.
You can still have like 8 units.
You've got nothing else, no characters.
Fine.
But the thing is, though, is there much difference between having 5 units Deathwing Knights on the table when a Dark Angels player now can have 3 units Deathwing Knights, 3 units of Deathwing Terminators, 3 units of normal Terminators, and 3 units of Assault Terminators?
If they're all 4 wounds -1 damage, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know, 4
I'd be
units.
scared.
4 units at battle line doing battle line things at 1,000 points doesn't bother me too much because you're losing out a lot of speed and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
I like
the
the
Deathwing
yeah.
Knights. The Deathwing Knights one is interesting because Deathwing Knights are so fucking good.
Yeah.
Would I like to see more Unit X becomes battle line if? Yes, 100%.
Maybe not Deathwing Knights.
Definitely
but
more
normal-
units
if they were
having battle line in specific detachments is
Yeah,
cool.
if they were normal Deathwing Terminators.
Would I also like to see things that encourage Dark Angels players to take Dark Angels detachments?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Would I like to see if you take Dark Angels units, then you need to run a Dark Angels detachment? I actually probably
'Cause it
would.
was
I would.
Yeah, because when they
personally.
did
I'm not a fan of this whole Space Marines can do anything they want ever.
What I found interesting is when they did the Space Marine update recently, they were like, oh, if you take Iron Father Ferios, then heavy Iron Father become OC3, you know.
Oh yeah.
Your heavy intercessor stuff, and then if you take Pedro Cantor, he makes Sternguard OC2. You know, I would like to see if you take Pedro Cantor, he makes Sternguard battle line.
I bet you would.
You know, if you take Strike, he makes assault intensive jump packs. Battle
That
line.
I kind of thought they were going to do that, but they just didn't. They was like, everyone's OC.
You get OC2, but you can't take more. You know,
Yeah, because they did the new tactical brigade detachment. Stormboy's a battle line in that.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. You could just have 60.
Because it's a good fix for giving non-supplement Space Marine chapters flavour without giving them
It would
a
definitely
new kit.
add some flavour to them. Like if Fists, what would Fists have for battle line? Just like
you could make
dudes of bolters, I guess.
I
like
don't know,
Stone
aggressors battle line or
yeah, I guess.
don't give them the OC bump.
No,
Just
they
say
don't need that.
they become battle line.
Yeah.
Or they make.
But yeah, like obviously Raven Guard
Yeah.
having assault jump people as battle lines makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, because their points went up. They weren't. And they're not a broken unit.
No, like they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Like they're probably arguably better than Blood Angels, but like if you had them as battle line for that, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd just like to see a way of making things a bit more exciting and narrative. But
I'm
locked
glad they
behind
are
something.
looking at going down avenues of like saying this unit's battle line here
Yeah.
or this unit has +1 OC in this one. It's like I
Yeah.
like the idea of detachments maybe adding more than just their own rule set and actually like changing units.
Yeah, I think
I can't get my super chat things back up.
I think chat are manipulating the
Are they gaming the 50%?
the bidding based on someone's idea that you haven't seen or agreed with. So someone said, if it's 50-50, will it be Tom and Liam versus Joe?
No.
And they've kind of agreed between themselves that will happen if it stays 50-50.
No, what will happen is I get to sit with my mate Lee and run the deck, which will be quite nice.
Yeah.
I can't get the last super chat up though because I've lost my fan funding.
Oh,
Can you read the last one for me, please?
from Cray.
Okay.
Is that
Yen.
Japanese yen?
I don't know about Japanese yen, it's just yen.
Yeah.
I don't know what yen it is.
I wish special characters were less prevalent. In third, they either required permission or a certain game size. Maybe that's too restrictive, though. Is this the Marvelification of 40k? What are your thoughts? So, I like the idea of more restrictions locked between game size on specific units, not characters. So, knights, planes, super heavies, 2001 points. Once you go over Strike Force, you can use those things, right? I
Yeah.
like that idea.
So it's similar to Heresy with Primarchs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like special characters because that's where I find my flavour, you know, hence my Seth argument. But it's also where I really like Hero Hammer. You know, I want my cool character running around the table killing stuff because that's my own little story going on in my head. You know, when he's going in and fighting 8-bound and just like one pumping a load of them, in my head he's like doing rolls and chops and cuts and things, you know? Or like when he's doing a one-on-one versus another character. That's exciting. When you get rid of named characters, you get rid of flavour.
That's true.
You know, it's just when it's Space Marines versus Space Marines and there's no cool narrative stuff in there, it's just you might as well not even paint your models.
Which I think if all characters were sort of created almost equally, then I would be inclined to agree with you. But we also live in a world where this character's really good right now, so everyone's running, what's his name from fucking Ultramarines?
Calgar,
Calgar, Ventress.
Yeah, Ventress.
Yeah.
Bobby
So,
G.
so you're right, I think you're right, and I agree with you, but like I don't know the last time I saw any Salamanders characters at a tournament.
Yeah. You don't see
I can't remember the last
Salamanders
time I
very
saw Salamanders at all.
Agatrax Earthshade, or whatever his name is.
What's meant was Adrax Agatone is an absolute
He's really
fucking
good as well. That's the
unit.
thing.
Yeah.
It's just that he's not one
When
of
was the last time
the.
we saw him at an event? You don't,
I've seen him once in 10th edition.
I saw him at the last Beachhead
did you? So
Yeah.
a year ago.
A full year
a year ago.
Yeah.
Mike Costello
Yes,
was running
that's the same person I saw.
Hey, right,
Yeah.
chat, you're amazing. We are an hour over schedule because it's an interesting topic, actually. We are 70 members behind, though. You clearly hate us today.
Is it Joe?
Well, yeah, you've returned today. Joe's returned this week. Members have gone in the toilet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I can't do a.
I don't feel like you are.
Hang on. Do I need to? Hang on.
What's he doing?
I was going to go and vote on the poll.
You can't. You can't
know.
vote on our own poll
Why?
because it's our own poll. You
Oh,
need
yeah,
to
I
log
can't-
in with a different YouTube account.
Yeah.
Who are you voting for?
That means you can vote if you want to as well. To
I
counteract
wonder.
whatever his vote is.
I don't think he'll vote for me, is the thing.
Exactly. So you want to vote for yourself.
I don't know. Where's it going to open? It's loading something. My phone's playing silly buggers.
19 members chat in the next 4 minutes. And
Oh! Got my volume up.
Do not want to
From
hear
the
myself.
point.
Cray helped us with 10 gifted
Oh
memberships,
my
Joe.
god.
10!
10!
Oh my god.
It's still a little bit of a disaster, but less so.
I voted and it hasn't even moved the numbers.
It won't.
It's because I voted
There'll
as
be
well.
hundreds of votes in there, and he probably voted the opposite to what you did.
What did you vote for?
I voted for Tom, so you
Oh,
can have a night
okay.
off.
Oh, good. So 2
But
votes
it's-
for Tom and it stayed at 50.
Yeah.
There's just a shitload of people voting.
Thank you, Cray, for the 10 gifted
10.
memberships.
I hope, Craig, that next time you make a cup of tea,
Eddie, yours night.
you leave it the perfect amount of time for it to cool down, and it's the best cup of tea you've ever made. But because you give to 10, you also have dipping biscuits that never break and fall in,
Oh my god,
Jesus,
Joe.
for 10!
or ever leave crumbs in it as well.
I can only be so erect.
Perfect dipping biscuits for 10 gifted is a strong hope there.
Yeah. What's your favourite dipping biscuit?
Custard creams.
Yeah,
Easy win, that one. Custard creams are my favourite dipping biscuit.
I like hobnobs, but the brand hobnobs. You can't have off-brand
without
hobnobs.
the
Struggle
hob,
with.
Yeah.
What?
There's always a penis joke somewhere.
There's always a dick joke.
Yeah.
Right, chat, you wonderful human beings. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on the Liam, Tom and Joe show.
Yeah.
You wonderful. I actually called it that as well on YouTube.
Did you?
Yeah, Liam, Tom
Me
and Joe.
before Joe.
Yeah.
I
Well,
thought
because Joe show. He has
that
to be at
does
the end.
rhyme, yeah.
But nothing to do with popularity. It's just got to be Joe show.
Nothing to do with you pushing Joe's buttons.
best till last, you know.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, of course, mate, of course.
Thanks for hanging out with us anyway, you wonderful human beings. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. I like to think so, since we've maintained 240 people right to this
Oh,
point.
he drinks green tea. I take it back. No one likes green tea.
I like green tea.
It's
weird.
okay.
I like green tea. Little bit of honey in it. Ooh, banging. Lovely, good for you.
Tastes like cabbage.
No, it doesn't.
So he's like, oh, it's
How
not,
would you know? You don't eat vegetables.
it's not
I
a white
do.
monster, it must be
The
shit.
gout says otherwise, Joe.
You can still eat vegetables and have gout. The vegetables are just covered in honey. You know, honeyed parsnips. Oh,
Oh, I love a honey
Oh,
parsnip.
That
yeah.
is banging, to be
Yeah,
fair.
I'm a fan of that one. So hopefully you've enjoyed the show. We are back tonight with a live game of Warhammer 40k, and I'm going to end the. Well, I'm ending the poll here anyway. Tom's winning. Tom's winning. You're going to play well.
oh, it's gone back again.
It still says me.
I'm calling it.
Yeah,
I'm calling it now.
yeah. It went to 51, and then they're
Are
playing.
they
with the numbers.
intentionally keeping it at 50?
I feel like someone's going vote, unvote,
Yeah, yeah,
vote,
yeah,
unvote.
Toying with our emotions.
So there will be a live game of Warhammer 40k tonight. It looks like it will be World Eaters versus Raven Guard, that classic heresy battle.
You might.
He lives in Japan. I'll let you off. That's their normal tea.
Isn't Raven's Guard rule you can't shoot me or something?
Yeah.
So I will probably not run
not
the
run that
Raven Guard
detachment.
detachment tonight
Yeah, I wouldn't.
because that would be stupid.
Yeah, I would.
Be
I don't
silly.
want. I don't want to relive the Chaos Space Marine Codex where every detachment I took, my opponent always took.
Run the detachment
counter.
that works best for the units you have.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Blood Angels detachment.
Well, no.
Strike. What?
No,
You're
can't
not
do
playing
that.
Blood Angels. Don't be what we hate, Joe.
I'm not bringing Strike, and I'm taking the Blood Angels detachment.
So I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much for some of the gifted memberships, you wonderful humans. Always slacking when Mercado's not about. But thank you, Harborn, for the 10 and Cray for the 10. That's very generous of you, wonderful human beings. Thank you for all the super chats, the engagement, the questions, the comments, the getting involved. It's actually really good for these kinds of discussions. Hence, we're an hour over. We do, however, have to go to the shop and get dinner and then actually get set up for tonight because the table hasn't even been started. I've done no graphics.
Yeah.
We've got to do that, you wonderful humans. I think that's everything. Anything you want to say, Joe, before we go?
Oh, I've had a wonderful time.
I'm glad. That's good, isn't it, when you're a wonderful time doing your job?
A wonderful time.
Good job having Tom back as well. Good conversation, people. Thank you so much for hanging out. Hopefully we'll see you tonight at 7:30. If not, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.
Bye.